Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Here they go. It almost looked like Vital was in slow motion. He was in the air so long.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
Looking to the end zone. He's got him in. Touchdown.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Prescott trying to take advantage. Going deep. Cooper. Oh, one-hander. Are you kidding me?
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
All right, here we go on this Monday afternoon. And, oh, by the way, I think summertime is here. And Ueckert is under the heat, literally. Craig and I, when Paul were talking about that, they are already a little wobbly. It's June the 14th. It's hot as hell. It's not going to get any better over the next couple of months, and especially after the ice storm. You would think that things would get a little bit better. Shane Anderson is the new Midway football coach. He's going to join us here momentarily. We had that story earlier today about, 7:30 or 8:30 this morning, replacing Jeff Hume, who's now at Legacy. He has been on the Midway staff twice with Kent Bechtel and Terry Gamble, then went out for a couple of years, came back and was a defensive coordinator for 2 years. And I got to say this, I had a chance to visit with Mike Singletary last night, and I think, Paul, Craig, 15, 12, 8 times we've talked to him?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not for me to judge, but I think this might be as much at peace as I've ever heard him. Like almost a jolliness in his voice. He and his wife were about to go on a vacation or a trip, a business trip. We'll have that. It's lengthy, and he talks about so much. And that's coming up as well today. One of the players he talked about was Dennis Gentry, will join us at 4:40. That's who he called the toughest player he ever faced in practice or in a game. Former teammate at Baylor and also with the Bears. Aundre Branch, former Baylor guard at 4:05. And then Drew Pittman and Dr. Gregg Ueckert, both on brainvault.com, and how to try to minimize, if not eliminate, concussions if they possibly can with the device that's been pretty amazing. We'll have a promo number for you as well to save some money. All right, Paul, your thoughts about Shane?
I think it's a very good hire for Midway. He's been there before. He knows the landscape. He knows I think it's always good to hire a coach who knows how the parents are, how the school board works, how the school runs. He was there during a very successful time. He's built Connolly into something that they weren't for a long time before he got there. He knows how to coach big-time talent. He's coached at a bunch of different levels. He's a deadly serious man when it comes to preparing for the games. I think that it's a daunting task for anybody. I mean, they could have hired Nick Saban to coach in that district, and it would have been tough for Nick Saban. So it's going to be an uphill climb for anybody in that district or in that job. But I like the hire a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I like Shane a lot, and I'm glad that I got to interview him on the sidelines last year during the Connolly games, and now I just get to flip over to Midway. I knew we were going to be flipping broadcast, and one of the downsides was, I enjoyed talking to Shane, but now that's just going to continue with a different team at different stadiums this year. So that's kind of cool, and yeah, he's a good football coach. He knows, like Paul said, the ins and outs of Midway. I'm sure there will be a couple things to brush up on just that have changed over the last couple years since he's been away. But, he knows the area. He knows the kids in this area. He knows how to coach, and he knows Midway. So I think if you're looking to check boxes, they did a good job in checking a lot of boxes with Shane. And I know it's probably tough for the Connolly folks as they'll not have to, worry about, who the next head coach will be. But I'm excited, and, it'll make those Midway broadcasts more fun. They were going to be fun with Jeff Hume, but they'll be, more fun with Shane Anderson now.
And Jeff, of course, at Legacy in Mansfield. Connolly, I spoke with Superintendent Wes Holt. Obviously, he did not want to see Shane Anderson leave, but he did. He understands the opportunity. He's going to name one of the coaches currently on staff as an interim. They will open the coaching search and hope to have somebody, and it could be somebody on staff. It does not eliminate somebody on the staff as the new head coach by the end of the month. So Shane will join us here momentarily. We also had a comment from Terry Gamble on Shane that we might play entering the Shane Anderson segment. All right, Texas, 37 trips now to the College World Series. 36 of those have been in Omaha. Stanford, Arizona, Tennessee, North Carolina State knocked out number 1 Arkansas, and Vanderbilt all have punched their ticket to Omaha. Virginia leads Dallas Baptist 5-2. That game's in the 8th. The winner goes on. And tonight, Notre Dame, Mississippi State, an elimination game.
I'm going to be sad to see far fewer Arkansas tweets on my timeline now with the exit of the Razorbacks. But, that was a shocking results for them to go down. But, I mean, this is they might as well have just handed Texas the trophy at the end of the regular season, quite frankly, because the way that it worked out with TCU falling early and just the matchups where they could have maybe played like a Miami, and instead they're playing South Florida at home, which was non-competitive basically. I mean, they've had everything fall their way as far as the tournament bracket goes, and not a surprise in any way, shape, or form as a result that they're headed to Omaha. And yeah, they're a good team too. They've been near the top, of the rankings the entire year, so I'm not surprised whatsoever. And we'll see what they do out in Omaha.
They have, they rolled right through USF, but they had a 3-0 lead, blew it, had to score in the extra innings to win that game in Game 1, won big last night. Our good friend Akira Nugent, hear about this? Finished 3rd in the 100-meter hurdles at the NCAA meet in Eugene, Oregon. She also ran in the 100 like 10 minutes later. She had nothing in her. She was out of gas. Finished, I think, 7th or 8th or 9th in that. But she was spectacular, finishing behind the dual 100-meter, 400-meter champion from Southern Cal. So overall, a pretty good deal for Akira Nugent, who we had on the show. Remember, back we've had it on a couple of different times this year. Now, we'll have Shane Anderson. Let's break here. We'll come back with Midway's Shane Anderson. I saw this on the board earlier today when I put up the story that Shane was the new coach at Midway, and there was is he Baylor friendly? Well, Connolly has had JV on Sunday go to Washington. Torrey Pullen, who's no longer at Oklahoma State, went to Oklahoma State. Obviously, Block is at Oklahoma State. His brother just got an offer from Oklahoma State. We know about Trey Wiseman, who's got an offer from everybody, and I think might have even been in Alabama recently. But when he was at Midway sent a chunk of players. That was during the time Art Browse was still the head coach at Baylor, but it's not. I've never heard Shane say anything to me about Baylor. You got to have the talent, and you have to give the players the offer for them to want to go to Baylor. That's up to Baylor as well.
I think the better question, and I think Craig is probably about to say this, it was Baylor Connolly friendly.
No, I mean, yeah, and there's that too. But, what I was going to say is that Baylor hasn't offered hardly any of these guys.
Yeah.
They have to have the interest. They didn't care about Pullen. They didn't really care about Black. They didn't seem to pursue JV on Sunday all that much. I know maybe 1 or 2 of those guys had offers, but I never felt like they were anywhere close to committing to Baylor. Baylor whiffed on Tanner Mordecai. They whiffed on Khalil Houghton over at Midway. They didn't offer Travius Hodges until it was way too late, and he was already pretty much knowing he was going to get a TCU offer. So I think Baylor's miscalculated or been the one that's these guys aren't good enough for us here recently. They were getting the Devontre Stricklands and those types of guys, the Bo Blackshears. And then all of a sudden, no Houghton, no Mordecai, no Hodges, and then the other guys just weren't good enough. And, and then on the Connolly side, I just said it, they barely recruited those guys from my understanding. I mean, I know they probably talked to JV on Sunday and those guys, but, Midway had when Baylor was at their absolute worst on the offensive line when Matt Rule took over. They did not offer Katori Leviston.
Yep.
They did not offer, who's the other, one went to Tech and one went to K-State. It was Katori Leviston and,
I just went blank.
Whoever the other offensive lineman was, and they had no interest in those guys, despite the fact they desperately needed offensive linemen. So there's 2 guys in the Big 12 right now that live in Waco, went to high school in Waco, and never got any interest basically from the hometown team. So I could go on, Temple guys, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, there's some disconnect there. I don't know if Baylor just views the talent in this area like they have to be at a certain level, and those guys just haven't hit that barometer, or if – maybe now guys are just like, you know what, I don't even really want to stay around anymore here. I don't know, but
and
something's got to get fixed out.
Get out of town as well.
And that was Tanner Mordecai, and that's understandable because if I grew up in Waco, I'd probably want to leave too. Just like if I grew up in any town, I want to go off somewhere for college most of the time. But, yeah, there has been a bit of a disconnect lately.
All right, one other note, Taya Cooper has been suspended for 1 game, former Baylor star. She left the sideline area when there was an on-court altercation during the LA Sparks lost to Minnesota on June the 12th. She'll serve her suspension this week and miss the game against Phoenix, the Mercury, which includes, of course, Brittany Griner. All right, when we come back, Shane Anderson, Midway football coach, Mike Singletary, and perhaps, like you've never heard him. I don't know, you've maybe heard him 100 times, but it seems like he was as at peace as I've ever heard him. And then, of course, Aundre Branch and the Brain Vault. You heard about this? Drew Pittman, that's Grant Taft's son-in-law, but he's an NFL agent for nearly 30 years, and Dr. Ueckert, they are the co-founders of the Brain Vault and how it has minimized and in some cases been amazing when it comes to concussions and that device and how you can get a discount on that as well. And this is SicEm365 Radio. It's Father's Day weekend coming up. What are you going to cook on the grill? What are you going to cook for Dad? What are you going to get on the grill, whether it could be a combination of perhaps a big, thick bone-in ribeye or bacon-wrapped filet or possibly something else that's a sirloin steak, a big porterhouse. About that, you can get all that. Maybe the baked potato on the side, vegetables, fresh vegetables. That's all found at Waco Custom Marketplace. Oh, by the way, if you want to do a big old crawfish boil, they have the crawfish tails up until Wednesday. You can order until 6. Pick them up after Friday afternoon after 2 or sometime Saturday. So Father's Day weekend, if you're going to have a big blowout, you're going to cook on the grill, you're going to have a big reunion, a family get-together, whatever it might be, they have the product from beef to the bakery to the butcher shop to beef, pork, chicken, of course, as well, poultry and seafood. So maybe you want to get a nice, really delicious Norwegian salmon fillet. They have that as well. You want to barbecue or do some sort of possibility of shish kebabs. They can help you with that. Custom order. Call them. Get the crawfish tails. Get what you need. $4.25 a pound, 30-pound sacks at Waco Custom Marketplace, your Father's Day location on Lake Air Drive in Waco.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, this is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like our free First mobile app, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. That's the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financials, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Travel is back. Hit the road with big savings during the summer savings event at Richard Carr. The road is waiting. Explore America again in the space, safety, and luxury of a Buick SUV. And during the Richard Carr summer savings event, current Buick or GMC owners get 16% off a new 2021 Buick Encore, 13% on Encore GX, 9% on midsize Buick Envision, or 13% on a full-size Buick Enclave. Summer travel is back at the summer savings event going on now at Richard Carr.
At Richard Carr, we give you more.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. This high school football segment is sponsored by Southwest Sports Medicine. We'll get you back in the game.
Midway has a new head football coach. Jeff Hume went to Legacy, opened the door up, and Shane Anderson has been at Midway twice under Kent Bechtel, also under Terry Gamble twice, 2 different times, including defensive coordinator. Was offered the job over the weekend, accepted it today, signed his contract, met with his staff at Connolly, the players at Connolly, met with his also staff and players at Midway. He joins us on SicEm365 Radio. What has been the high, what has been the largest emotion, talking to your former team and staff or your current staff and today alone?
Well, first of all, guys, thank you for having me on. It's an exciting day, exciting time for us and our family, and like I said, I'm going to try not to get emotional on this deal. You guys have been around me enough to know how much I care and how important, not only high school football, but just kids in general are. And anytime you walk away from a program that you poured everything into for 6 years, it's hard. And those coaches, and like I told those coaches, that's hard too, because I wouldn't be where I'm at without that coaching staff. And they're the reason that I have an opportunity, and those kids are the reason I have an opportunity. And so that was tough. And meeting with my superintendent, Derek Connolly, Wes Holt, I mean, that man's giving me the moon and giving me every opportunity to be successful. And so it's been an emotional day, and but man, it's behind me now, and it's time to move on. And it's been a great day over here so far.
Shane, you're very familiar with the program and the ins and outs of it. Obviously, things are a little different now than when you left, given that the district is that gigantic ball of razor blades you're going to have to run through every week. But is this kind of in your DNA? Because when you went back to Connolly, which I know is your alma mater, they hadn't really run anything up the flagpole in a while either.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on yeah, we want to win football games. That's the name of the game. And if you don't win football games, you're not going to be somewhere very long. But at the same time, I'm huge on investing in young men and really young ladies and just overall high school student athletes, and just investing in them and pouring into them and giving them every avenue and every opportunity to be successful. And that's what we've done, the last 6 years there at Conley, and that's not going to change here. I actually haven't got to meet the team here yet. I will meet them in the morning at 7 a.m. at Strength and Conditioning, and I can't wait. And, to get to know these kids here and get to know this coaching staff that's here and, just continue to try to impact and change kids' lives is what we're going to do here.
I know in high school sports, there's so much moving around for most coaches. So when you leave someplace, I imagine you don't ever close the door entirely because you could always be back. Did you think you'd be back at Midway someday?
It's a goal. It's a goal of mine. I'm from Waco, like you said, and my parents still live here. My wife's from West, and my in-laws, they live here. And, so this was an opportunity to coach on the big stage, so to speak, be a 6A head coach with the best facilities in Central Texas, if not the state, in what should, in my opinion, be the top program in Central Texas. And, it was just a great opportunity for me. And I told Mr. Holt, in 2015 when he hired me, that the one job that I would leave for is the Midway job, and that I think it was going to come open in the middle of June. Absolutely not. But here we are, and like I said, the good Lord opened the door, and we got to take advantage of it.
Well, we have we're going to play a little bit here in a minute, a couple of minutes from Terry Gamble, his reaction to you getting the job at Midway, and we want you to stay on the line when we play that. But I also talked to Quentin Snell, who you know very well, a great coach at Connally, great basketball coach. He's also on your football staff. He said, I've known Shane since he was 11, and he was thrilled and is thrilled for you. What does that mean when you have had people who knew you when you were just a kid, and they've seen you blossom into where you are right now?
You're going to make this hard on me, David. No, it means the world. You know, Quentin Snell's the reason I'm a coach. He's one of the reasons. He came in when I was in junior high at Connally, and he was fresh out of college, and he was the cool cat on campus. And, you know, as a kid, you gravitate to those younger guys like that. And just to see how he interacted with the players. And, you know, I've known him and his wife, and obviously, you know, wasn't there, so to speak, but know his, sorry about that. I don't know. I guess I kept the door open too long here at Midway.
You know what that is?
Still learning.
You know what that is? That's you getting back into Connally Fieldhouse. They changed the code number on you already.
No, I'm standing right out here outside the Midway Fieldhouse.
Oh.
But no, back to Coach Snell. You know, I've known him for a long time, and, you know, he's one of those guys that, you know, when you leave and you go off on your own, he's one of those guys you want to make proud. And so, you know, when I was able to go back in 2015 and work with him there at Connally, you know, it was an unbelievable blessing. And, you know, not saying it too loud, but if I ever get an opportunity to bring him over here with me in any capacity, I'll do it.
Will you, I mean, you've always been a guy who's adapted to where you are. Obviously, you know, you had an offense that you ran at Connally, you had a defense you ran at Connally. How much do you see your strategy adjusting to the 6A level, or is it kind of personnel-based? Well, I think, obviously, like you said, you got to get in here and see what we have. And see, you know, I know they have a lot of talent here, a lot of young talent, and, you know, I definitely think there's the pieces of the puzzle to put together and to give us a chance to win on Friday night. You know, I can't sit here and tell you we're going to do this, that, or the other. I mean, our goal is to score touchdowns and keep the other team scoring touchdowns and be sound in the kicking game. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to approach. I told the staff here today, you know, and I told the media earlier today that, you know, it's just, this isn't about me. This isn't about any other adult in this equation. My main concern right now is this senior class. These seniors deserve an opportunity to be a playoff football team, and it's my job and this coaching staff's job to make sure we give them every opportunity, and that we have a great plan in place come August 9th, and that we attack every day and every week one at a time. And, you know, we can't worry about who's on that schedule. We have to go attack it, and we got to try to develop young men. And at the end of the day, I think that scoreboard will take care of itself.
What's it like to be back on the Midway campus and, you know, just kind of seeing how things have changed in the last few years?
You know, it's familiar and different at the same time. A lot of same faces. You know, you walk into the admin, you know, last week for the interview, and you see a few faces that you remember, and then you go back this morning and sign your contract, and you see a lot of familiar faces. And so, you know, it's real welcoming. They've been real welcoming and excited for me and my family. You know, my daughter was not born when we were here. She's 4, and so she has no idea about this place. My son was about 4 when we made the transition to Connally, and so, you know, he remembers the big stadium, and he remembers you know, bits and pieces of the indoor from coming over here and doing 7-on-7 and things of that nature. But, you know, it's great to be back, and, you know, like I said, I'm humble, I'm blessed. You know, I can promise you this: I will not take, you know, having these facilities and having this diverse group of kids and this mix of kids and this community and the support this community pours into this program. I will not take that for granted at all.
Shane, I don't think there's any question, based on what I know about the coaching search, and they had to turn that around pretty quickly since Jeff left for Mansfield and Legacy High. But I don't think there was any question that you seemed to be the front runner. There were others and good ones. I mean, it wasn't like it was handed to you, but you were the front runner. Did you ever have a sense of anxiety because it seemed like everything pointed to you?
You know, I was nervous, you know, because I knew what I wanted. I knew that when I found out the job was open, I knew that I wanted it. You know, I knew the timing of it was not great. I knew that, you know, anytime you try to take something over in June, not only are you, you know, taking it over in June here, but then you're leaving a staff and a group of kids in June. And so just that part of it was, yes, it brought a lot of anxiety over the last week and a half, and into my life, into my family's life. But at the end of the day, we took a deep breath. We told ourselves, it's going to happen. Whatever's supposed to happen is supposed to happen every morning and every night. I just prayed to God that if it's His will, let it be done. And it worked out. And I had to go win the interview and had to shear some things up and make sure these people understood how bad I wanted to be here.
Well, I guess the other side of that coin, though, is a coaching search in June goes faster than one in February.
There ain't no doubt it does. Ain't no doubt it does. And like I said, and we've known that. Like I said, as soon as I sent my application in and had some communication with Brad Shelton, I started making notes and started formulating a plan and just was hoping to hear from them this weekend after they finished the interviews, and hoping that I didn't have to go in there and delete those notes because I was ready and excited about the opportunity.
Shane, let's be honest. Midway's coming off a rough year. COVID could be part of that. A talent dip could be a part of that. And the district from hell could also be a part of that, and all the above, because it wasn't just 2 or 3 years ago when they were playing in a state championship. Midway has a standard. It has been a standard to compete for championships. And I know that district, DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, and others, they're really good. What is the standard right now for Midway, in your opinion?
Well, I think first and foremost, we got to come in here and establish our culture and our standard of what we want our field house and our facilities and our program to look like on a daily basis. That's the first thing we have to do. Once we get that done, then, like I said, we can start worrying about, what we need to do on the field as far as X's and O's. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing right now is making sure these kids understand that no matter who you're lined up against, no matter who that schedule is on, who's on that schedule and who you're playing, I think it's very, very important that those kids understand if we prepare well, if we prepare Monday through Thursday, and we're focused on what we need to be focused on, that it will have a chance to play with anybody. And like I said, I didn't say beat everybody on that schedule. I didn't say, the thing is but we're not going to back down from anybody. And, the cool thing is these kids have already been through that 1 year. They know what to expect when they line up against some of those guys. They were in some ball games that they could have won last year and just didn't have some things go their way. And so we got to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that things go our way. And like I said, I think we have to go about it day by day, week by week, and opponent by opponent. But it's no different than through this interview process of who applied and who was interviewing and all of that. I can't control that. I can't control who we have to play. All I can control is that the Midway Panthers are prepared and that they're going to play as hard as they can for 4 quarters or however long it takes.
All right, Jack, do you have the Terry Gamble comment? Shane, we're going to put you on hold for a second, and this is not really long, but this is the guy that you look up to a great deal, and Terry Gamble, when I asked him to let me know about what this decision by Midway meant to him as well.
What great news coming out of Waco today in Midway ISD and hiring of Shane Anderson. I thank the Midway Independent School District, Dr. Kazanis, Brad Shelton, and Allison Smith will be extremely proud of the hire that they just made. And I think the community will be just excited about what's fixing to take place right now with Coach Anderson coming on board. What he brings to the table. He'll bring a passion, a caring about the program, about the kids. And I think that Midway just hired a great person, most of all, and a great football coach. So I think Midway's lucky. I think he's going to do great things. Look forward to coming down and catching a game if possible. And always will love those Midway Panthers. But congratulations to Midway ISD. What a great job they did. And Shane's going to be a great hire.
All right, you heard him. And first of all, how can anyone not notice that voice of Terry Gamble? I'm sure players and coaches have, in a fun-loving way, some PTSD when they hear that voice. But your thoughts about Terry? I know that he has meant an incredible amount to your career.
There's no doubt he has. And like I said, just like those coaches and kids at Conley, I wouldn't have this opportunity if he wouldn't have gave me an opportunity 10 years ago to be on his staff and to be his defensive coordinator. And, that opened the door for me to get my first head coaching job at Connally 6 years ago. And, so I owe a great deal of it to Terry, and, what he brought to the table here at Midway. And I don't think there's any doubt, that dude right there is a winner. I think he was a head coach for 11 years and won 11 straight district championships. He has not been a head coach and not won a district championship. And so if I could ever get close to that or get close to being on his level, it'd mean a great deal to me. And, and when you get this opportunity, I don't want to disappoint him. I know what this place meant to him, and I know the success he had. And every day I wake up, put my feet on the ground, I'm going to do everything I can to make Terry Gamble proud and represent him and what he's done for me.
One final thing. I have been able to kind of, do my own due diligence when it comes to your staff. And I know that still is to be determined. It sounds as if you have lofty goals for who are going to be those who will join you, stay with you, or come with you on that staff. How soon can all that be turned around?
Our goal is to have most of this stuff done by the end of this week. We have, Coach Hume has some guys going with him, and there's some other guys that have an opportunity here, that I've already met with today that told me they're taking other opportunities. So there's some positions to fill. Obviously in the high school ranks, teaching fields have to match up. You can't just say, well, I want to hire this guy, and if he can't teach what you have open, then it's not going to work. And so, I'm fortunate to have a big network, for the guys I've worked with and been around and being a part of the THSCA board of directors has opened up some avenues for me to have a big network. And so, a lot of the guys I know that can flat coach football, can flat teach class, and are certified. And so I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's fixing to be exciting. We're fixing to bring some big time dudes on board to join the guys that are already here, and this thing's fixing to be special.
Shane, thank you. Congratulations.
Congrats.
We, of course, have the Midway games. We did Connally last year, which was great. You had a lot to do with that. We will still have Connally as well. Thanks for your time. We'll see you soon.
Hey, thank you, guys. It means a lot. Appreciate y'all.
And you do, too. That's Shane Anderson, new football coach at Midway. Based on what I've learned, his offensive coordinator is one of the best that has been around Central Texas when it comes to that system, if, in fact, that goes through. And he's a head coach elsewhere. And then a former coordinator at Midway, who's at one of the largest schools in Texas, is also a part of the mix, along with who's at Midway, who's at Connally, and who else might be coming in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the staff fills out. But I think the biggest thing, and I'm not sure if Brad Shelton saw this or not, but I just take away from this that Shane's not scared of Duncanville and DeSoto and all these teams that, like the big bad district that they're in. Are they going to take their lumps? Probably. Would every other team in the state, if they were in that district? Yep. I mean, throw Temple, throw Connally, throw anybody you want to in that district, and they're going to get slapped around by some of those teams. So that's just the natural order of things. But I can guarantee one thing: that team will not fight, or that team will not quit, and they will fight under Shane Anderson, and that can lead you to winning a couple games maybe that you shouldn't. So if anything, the wins might not come right away. Maybe they do. I mean, I'm not ruling that out either, but if they don't, it won't be for a lack of trying, fighting, and continuing to try and get better.
No question about it. We do have Midway. We have Connally for the upcoming 2021 season. Cannot wait. I mentioned the Connally. They will have an interim coach for now. Open up the coaching search almost immediately. Hope to have a replacement by the end of the month. That's according to Wes Holt, the superintendent. When we come back, he's a Hall of Fame football player at every level known to man. And man, is Mike Singletary at a place in his life that he seems to be as content and happy as I've ever heard him. Mike Singletary, the great Mike Singletary, next on SicEm365 Radio. PettyClinicLowT.com. Dr. Kent Petty can help you become the high-performance man you want to be. And how can he do that? Well, you have to make the first move. Get on their website, PettyClinicLowT.com. Up in the left-hand corner, there's a number, there's an email address, and contact them and tell them. Tell them I sent you. Tell them I said, hey, that you get in touch with them. They will set you up with lab work, get your blood results. Dr. Petty will look at them and then find out where your testosterone levels are while also checking some other levels of your blood that matter, including, oh, by the way, a PSA test. What's your PSA number? Because that's you with prostate cancer. PettyClinicLowT.com. If, in fact, your testosterone levels are too low, can put you in a program to increase them and help you become the high-performance man that you want to be. What does that mean? Sleep better, better energy, better sex drive. ED could be a problem. This can help you out as well. It's PettyClinicLowT.com.
I hate my job, but I don't mind getting up in the morning. I dread each day, but I can't wait to get out of bed. You ask me why, and what I'll say to you is true. Well, you can get breakfast tacos at Rudy's Barbecue. Scrambled eggs and brisket, they ain't fooling around. Salsa drap, son, they're the best in town. Barbecue for breakfast, yes, it's true. Put a smile on your morning at Rudy's Barbecue. Next in line.
Boots add protection. Good boots help you climb better and move forward faster. And when your son or daughter steps into the boots of a U.S. Army officer, they also learn how to lead. In these boots, they'll gain more confidence with expert training in one of more than 150 occupational specialties. In these boots, they'll stand a little taller and lead a team with diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise to successfully accomplish whatever challenge comes next. In these boots, they'll earn respect with valuable experience from day one that will give them solid footing for success into the future. Highly qualified candidates who earn a spot on our team can receive comprehensive health care coverage, college tuition assistance, and a bonus of up to $40,000. See all the things your son or daughter can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. Sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance and there are no hidden costs, even offering financing if that's needed. Everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
Allen Samuels is celebrating Jeep Freedom Days with the 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude with values up to $3,750 or 1.9% for 72 months, plus $500 bonus cash. See the 2021 Jeep Gladiator Overland with total values of $1,500 or 3.9% for 72 months. Allen Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer, located at 201 West Loop 340, online at allensamuelsdcj.com.
Come by, let's be friends.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
The SicEm365 Radio Live Guest VIP Hotline is sponsored by Stonewood Dental. We are all in this together.
Well, everyone knows Mike Singletary, every Hall of Fame imaginable, from Texas high school football, Texas Sports Hall of Fame, college football, pro football. You pretty much have just checked off all the boxes, haven't you?
Well, you know what? I'm just very thankful that I've been able to stay healthy and accomplish those things, and very grateful for that.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame is about to have their newest induction, and in fact, it's kind of a double-packed group of people, a lot of different players and coaches and stuff, personalities, those who contributed. What does that mean, that weekend, the induction weekend, for those who are members?
You know what? It's just a really. It's kind of like when a mom is pregnant and the kids that they already have, you're so excited about the new baby, and you're excited to see what it is, and it's just a welcoming to the family. For those that are already in the Hall of Fame, it's you remember when you got that call. And it's always a tremendous reminder of how grateful you are when you get that call, because it is so special and it is such a wonderful fraternity. So it's pretty an awesome feeling.
What do you think they seem to be adding a large group, one because they missed last year, but also they're trying to play a little bit of maybe catch up to get some that have been overlooked. Your thoughts about maybe trying to play catch up a little bit?
I guess it's one of those things where they're going to do what they feel they need to do. I don't even spend much time trying to figure out, why they're doing certain things. But I guess if they're saying, hey, we missed last year, I get it. I understand that. We're going to add some more. Okay, I get it. That's what you're going to do. I mean, in any given year, there are so many players. I would say they always miss a handful every year that's left out, and that still need to be in there by certain respects. So, you're never going to get it all right. You're never going to say, oh, okay, great, they got it right this year, and they got everybody in it. There's always somebody that's left out that should be in there.
Is there a former Chicago teammate of yours that you feel like should be in?
When I think of the Bear players, I think Wilbur Marshall comes to mind. Wilbur Marshall was a great player, and he left the Bears and went to Washington, and I think one year he was Defensive Player of the Year there. But if there's anybody that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, Wilbur Marshall is that guy that was an amazing athlete and was absolutely vicious. That's one guy. That's another Bear that hopefully down the line here he deserves to be in there.
Mike Singletary also is part of Memo.me. It's a chance for people, if they want to get a unique gift for Father's Day, to contact Memo.me and then, for example, get in touch and have Mike Singletary send a father or somebody else a greeting. You've been a part of that a little bit. Is that some stuff that you just kind of are able to do that and surprised at how many people may want a piece of an audio clip from you?
Well, it's pretty cool. Obviously I've been doing cameos and now the memos, and Cameo has been very good to me, and that's been fun as well. Memo, and hopefully we just continue to do both of them.
All right. What does Father's Day mean to you?
Wow. That's a mouthful, but I'll try and really I'll try and narrow it as much as I can. Father's Day means to me, as I strive to serve the Father that we can't see but we can feel, and we know He's there. Just trying to do everything that I can to honor the God that I call Father. And, my Lord and Savior means everything to me. And if I can do my job on earth to raise my kids, be there for them, offer the discipline, as they get older, offer the advice, but just do my job and let them know that I am so, so thankful that God allowed them to be in this family, so that they could be a part of my wife and I, Kim and I, our legacy in terms of what we have to contribute to this world. And that's what I see.
You have coached at every level possible, including high school football in Texas. And I know the Bears talked to you maybe earlier this year about their defensive coordinator position. Do you still have the dream of coaching again?
You know what? I believe that right now, the most important thing, I'm doing something right now that I really didn't really want to do from a distance, and now that I'm doing it, I'm really excited about what I'm doing, and that is really trying to help America mend and get back together. I got a program that we're doing in Chicago on the 17th of July, and it's about the south side and west side of Chicago, bringing them together and doing everything that we can to help them get the help they need, the love they need, the care that they need to get back in society and make America healthy everywhere. So that's what I'm doing right now. As far as football is concerned, if God opens the door, I'll know it's Him and I'll walk through it.
Mike, the country, of course, the last year and a half, it's been difficult. It's been difficult for a long time. It's always there's something. But as someone like yourself that loves America, that loves God, that loves people, and that people love you, how difficult at times was it for you to see sometimes how fractured this country was?
Well, it was tough, but at the same time, I also understand that sometimes you really don't know how badly something is broken until it actually breaks. And you take a step back and you look at it and you go, wow, I thought we were better than this. I thought we were closer than this. But it's a painful thing sometimes to see the truth of how far we are apart. But I really do believe, and I really do believe this in my heart, that we're closer than what we saw. And I really believe that there's a handful of people out there that don't want it to work, but there are more people out there that want it to work, that want America to be great. And hopefully we can get it right this time.
What is one thing about Mike Singletary that people might assume is true that may be more myth than reality?
Wow. That question took a lot of turns. I can get in trouble on that one. What is something about Mike that people may think is true, but in reality is not? Is that correct?
Yeah, and it could be football. It could be your intensity as a person. It could be it's kind of wide open.
Okay. I would say that the biggest misconception that people have with me that they think is true, most everybody I meet, I would say 95% of the people I meet say after they meet me, wow, you're really a nice guy. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that. So, you're really a nice guy. So, you don't yell at people. You don't, you're not going to snap at anybody. But you're really helpful, you're really kind, and you're really nice. Wow. So that's what I hear most of the time.
I've always had I'm of the opinion that you hear about, well, that guy's this or that girl's that or that person's that. And then I go, well, if you've never met them, you can only go by what others are saying. That doesn't mean it's true. It's better to meet somebody and then form your own opinion. Do you feel like it's because of those eyes and because of the way and how ferocious and violent you played the game?
Yeah, I definitely do. When you have guys on the other team asking you, what are you taking? And getting angry at you when you tell them, I'm not taking anything.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not going to tell me the secret? So you're not going to? I said, no, I'm not taking anything, man. I'm telling you, I don't take anything, nothing. So that part of it was pretty funny. They wanted to get some too. So, but anyways, I say, hey, it's just the Lord, man. It's just the passion that He gave me, and that's it.
The eyes that you had, and you know the famous pictures of you on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Do you feel like you ever intimidated a quarterback by just your glare, your look?
Never intentionally. It's amazing how much I hear that. Oh, he's trying to intimidate. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. I'm trying to see every little key that I possibly could. That's it. And as far as the other stuff, I mean, I never tried to intimidate anybody. I mean, how am I going to intimidate anybody? I'm one of the smallest guys on the field. So I just think that everybody thought that was the intent, but actually I was working, man, trying to get my keys right.
What is the feeling like for you when you had a collision, college or pro, and you broke a helmet? What did you feel?
Really, to be honest with you, I really felt like, man, why do I always get the bad helmet? Really, what kind of helmet are they giving me? You got to be kidding me. Why do I get the defected helmet? Nobody else is breaking helmets. Well, why am I the only one breaking helmets? I mean, this is ridiculous. That was my thought process.
And do you remember how many? I mean, do you know off the top of your head how many you cracked?
There were a number of helmets that I didn't even know they were cracked.
Oh, okay.
The next day I got another helmet. And, Skip Cox would say, well, it got cracked. And I'm like, what? Really? Yeah, it was cracked on the side. We can't let you play with that. And then there were some that were just obviously cracked right down the middle like an egg. Mm-hmm. So, it just happened.
You've told me many times the influence that Grant Taft had in your life and so many others. And recently when I sat down with Coach Taft, you told me about the speaking engagements and what that meant and what he was trying to teach you. What did Corky Nelson teach you, and how intense was he, and how much did he get you fired up?
The sad thing about people like Corky Nelson is they never, ever get the accolades that they deserve. Corky, to me, was one of the greatest coaches that I've ever been associated with. He was absolutely amazing. He knew how to push your button. He knew what he wanted. He had a game plan as to how to get it. And right today, anytime I go anywhere, when there's another linebacker that Corky Nelson coached, and we're in the same room, 9 times out of 10, we're going to find each other and say, you were coached by Corky Nelson. And here comes the story. Mm-hmm. To me, that is the mark of a tremendous coach. I mean, too many coaches, but nobody have anything to say about, oh, that guy? Oh, man, he know what he's doing. But Corky Nelson, and I know for a fact, as tough as it was, as some days as horrible as I thought it was, what a gift for God to give me to be able to have him as my college defensive coordinator and college coach. And he and Coach Taft were just a tremendous blend for me.
Did you ever have a chance to tell Coach Nelson exactly that?
Absolutely.
I asked you about the helmets. Mike Singletary, Hall of Famer in every way. Memo.me is also a part of this interview and what we have with Father's Day coming up. Was there ever a hit? Like, I've asked Earl Campbell, what was the hardest hit he can remember? And, of course, he's delivered a bunch of them, but there was the Jack Tatum hit at the goal line.
Oh, yeah.
That was, like, I'm surprised both of them just, like, they didn't evaporate. Was there one in particular you remember the most out of the hundreds or maybe thousands of collisions you had?
I'm going to tell you one of the toughest guys, and this makes me very proud to say this because he's also a friend. But Dennis Gentry, I broke 2 helmets in the same practice on Dennis Gentry. And Dennis Gentry is just a little guy.
Yep.
A little running back. But let me tell you something. When Corky wanted somebody that was going to block, he called Gentry. I don't care where Gentry was on the field. Where's Gentry? He knows what I'm talking about. And Gentry would come down there and would run as hard as anybody, would run over you, was a tremendous competitor. And for a small guy, he was a guy that, hey, you have to take notice. You have to buckle up your stuff if you're going against Gentry. And so Gentry was the guy I loved practicing against Gentry because you know you're going to get better. He's going to give you everything you had. And so that practice, I'll never forget, we had 2 practices. I mean, we had 1 practice, and I think it was 2-a-days. 1 practice, I cracked 2 helmets, split them straight down the middle, and it was Gentry.
And of course, you played in the NFL with him. He was a part of those 85 Bears. Everyone talks about you or Dan Hampton or whoever else, Steve McMichael, but guys like him were just as tough, huh?
Oh, man, there's no doubt. When you got guys like Dennis Gentry on your backup team and on special teams, he was a monster on special teams. And so when you got the quality special team players like Dennis Gentry, man, your special team is going to be great.
Couple more things, Mike, and we appreciate your time. I asked you about maybe one hit, and you mentioned Dennis Gentry in practice. Was there a specific game that, maybe one that everyone thinks was your favorite game, or is there a game that stands out at Baylor more than any other game?
Wow. It stands out in Baylor more than any other game. I would say probably Texas A&M, when I think they came to Waco, and they had George Woodard and Curtis Dickey, and they were a pretty hot team, and they came to Waco. It may have been my junior year or something like that. I think this is correct. I could be wrong, but they may be getting the year wrong. But they came to Waco, and we beat them. And it was a tremendous victory for our team, the university, and for the status of our team. We kind of moved up the chart there a bit. Because we beat a very good football team, a very talented football team at home, at our home, and it was a great day.
You command respect. It's not like you say you must respect me, but people respect Mike Singletary. That doesn't mean everybody agrees with you or likes your style or whatever, but that's because we're all human, and not everybody thinks that someone's perfect. But you seem to command that respect. Why?
Maybe because I give it. I think one of the things that I really appreciate about some of my teammates is, my junior year, my senior year, even my sophomore year. When there were players that came in and they were rookies or what have you, freshmen, and somebody was trying to pick on them, or, I would always step in and say, we're not doing that. Don't do that to him. That's not right. I wouldn't want anybody to do it to me. I don't want you to do it to him. So, why does it matter to you? Because anytime I see any injustice anywhere, I'm going to step in. Because it's not right. It's not right here. It's not right on the field. It's not right in my family. It's not right anywhere I see it. I'm going to step in and I'm going to say something. That's my nature, and that's what I was taught as a kid.
We need more of you.
Well,
I mean, that's kind of what you're trying to do now, though. Isn't that kind of what you mentioned, Chicago and this country, and you're trying to maybe help people heal and get better and maybe understand everybody better?
Absolutely. I think that we've got to spend more time being more conscious of others rather than thinking of, how I feel about everything. I think as a country, we need to do a better job putting ourselves in the shoes of others and trying to figure. I mean, I find myself, judging people. Man, why don't they go get a job? Why don't they do this? And I catch myself say, you know what? Mind your own business, number one. Number two, do you have any idea how they got to that point? Do you know what happened in their life? Do you know their story? Then shut up. It's okay. All right. You're exactly right. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Mind my own business and make sure that I keep doing the things that I need to do to stay out of harm's way and try to make our country better than it is.
Did you ever think about, or did anyone ever ask you to run for office, or is that something you'd want to do?
No, I don't. I don't have the patience for politics. I don't have the. I'm not a politically correct guy. I'm not very good at that.
I had someone bring this up that they remembered when you were in college, and when they were there, or perhaps it might have been a brother-in-law or someone else, the football players would lead Bible studies at Penland Hall, and that you were a part of that among many others, and it always meant so much to them because you guys were involved in that. Do you recall that and what that meant to you as well?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, at every stage of my life, God was always involved. And not all the time I was following him like I should. But I always knew that if I'm going to go anywhere in this life, God has to be the foundation of it. And without that, I'm fooling myself to think that, I can be successful over here, but screwing up over here. To me, success is all about consistency. If I'm successful on the field, then I need to be successful in the classroom. And if I'm successful in the classroom, I need to be successful in my relationships. And to me, it all ties together. There's no compartmentalizing success. Same way I look at it as a dad. I'm not successful as a football player, failure as a dad. No, either you are Hall of Fame football player. Well, you know what? That requires you to be a Hall of Fame dad. The same stuff that I put in on that field, I need to put in my relationship with my wife. I need to put in the relationship with my kids. If I'm not doing that, then I'm cheating. I'm cheating. I'm leaning too much on one of them, and I'm robbing the other two. And that, to me, is when we get in harm's way.
When you received that scholarship offer from Baylor, I don't know if anyone else had actually offered you a scholarship back in the day. Was there one school that you always wanted to offer you coming out of high school?
Yes. I wanted to go to Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's another story. There was a guy named Durfee Thompson. I was telling my daughter about this yesterday. Durfee Thomas was a guy that when I was in high school, my junior year, we were getting ready for spring practice. And Durfee Thompson saw me. And first of all, my teammates had been trying to talk me into playing safety or cornerback because I was too small. They were telling me, first of all, my high school no one had really gotten a scholarship from my high school to a Division I school. So my teammates were telling me, Mike, you need to play cornerback or you need to play safety so you can get a Division I scholarship. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. You're too small. But I said, I'm playing middle linebacker. I love the position. That's what I'm playing. And I'm going to get a D1 scholarship. It's okay, you're dreaming. So one day, my teammates came and got me out of my class. It's Mike, you got to come see this guy. You got to come see this guy. This guy just got cut from the NFL. He is like 6'4", 6'5". He's like 240 pounds. He just got cut, Mike. I'm telling you, you got no chance. And so I looked at the guy. He was in the weight room. He was lifting everything we had in there. And so I looked at him and I go, wow, okay. I was thinking to myself, they kind of have a case, but, he's not me and I'm not him. I'm still going to play middle linebacker and I'm going to get a D1 scholarship. So I go out to practice that day, spring practice. After practice, this is the only guy, I only see him one time in my life that day. He came up to me and he said, Mike, he said, let me tell you something. If I had what you had at your age, I would still be playing.
Wow.
So he said, you got what it takes, man. You got it. And he said, when Oklahoma is going to come to you next year and offer you a scholarship, take it. Because it is a school that I wanted to play at. I never did, but my buddies tell me about that school, and they say, man, it is a dream to play at Oklahoma. So that next year, I prayed, and I at the beginning of the year, Baylor comes. And they offered me a scholarship. And I prayed. I said, Lord, the first school that comes, that's where I'm going. And so Baylor happened to be the first one. And then the University of Texas offered me. At the end of everything, those were basically the only two schools that offered me a scholarship. And at the end, when signing date was just about due and everything else, Oklahoma comes. And there's a guy at Oklahoma, I don't know who he was, but he's a scout. He had on about 3 bowl rings. And he came there, and he came and got me out of my class, and everybody was like, wow, that guy's from Oklahoma, Mike. Man, you're going to get a scholarship to Oklahoma. And so the guy comes and gets me, and he takes me down to the library. And he said, so, you don't want to go to Baylor, do you? you want to be a preacher or a doctor or something? And I said, well, sir, I went to Baylor. I visited. And at that time, I had made my decision. I called Coach Staff and told him I'm coming to Baylor. So he said, Oklahoma wants to offer you a scholarship. It's one of our last scholarships. And he just knew I was going to take it. So he says, so what do you think about that? And I said, well, sir, I really appreciate that, but I'm going to Baylor. And he looked at me and he said, son, did you not understand what I just said? I just told you Oklahoma is willing to give you a scholarship. Now, do you want it or not? I said, no, sir, I don't. I am going to Baylor University. I gave Coach Staff my word that I'm going to Baylor University, and that's what I'm doing. He started swearing. He started cursing. He called me an idiot. That I had no idea what was happening, and walked out.
I wonder if Coach Switzer ever heard that story.
It's an interesting one.
Wow. Well, I have to ask you about Baylor football one more time as far as what they have now. Dave Aranda, you know what he did at LSU. Their defense was really good last year. They just never could get off track offensively. And then a couple of years ago, they had a great defense that went to the Sugar Bowl. Didn't win, but they were really good under Matt Rule. Do you see Baylor's defense, watch them play, and are you proud of what you see?
Anytime you see a defense fight and play hard, play together, that's always exciting to see. I wish him nothing but the best.
Mike, I've interviewed you over the years. I've been fortunate to interview you a handful of times, maybe 10 or 12 times in the last 10 or 12 years. It seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you might be more at peace with things now than perhaps ever.
Well, I'll put it like this. I really believe that where I am right now, I believe that, sometimes you settle in a place. And I believe that God has me exactly where he wants me right now. And I'm at peace with that.
Memo.me, Mike Singletary, some of the great celebrities and entertainers. You can contact Memo.me and get them to send something to a father for Father's Day. Mike, thank you so much. Enjoy your trip. Hope to see you very soon.
God bless.
Mike Singletary, Hall of Famer across the board on SicEm365 Radio.
At Baylor University, students can shine in their own way. Or should we say their own ways? Because there's no limit to the ways Baylor students make the world a brighter place. Whether they're leading a student organization or following a higher calling, getting advice from faculty, or taking part in world-class research, pursuing their dreams, or working toward their dream job, students find their place to shine at Baylor, where lights shine bright.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel & Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel & Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel & Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness was built to help give you a chance to enjoy elite tennis facilities and also remain fit or reshape your body. Now Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness has gone through its own physical changes. There are 7 large flat screens stretched across the main and improved weight room with Wi-Fi available and their own app to enjoy news, business, weather, or sports channels. The beautiful sound of active treadmills and elliptical machines, group exercise classes throughout each day, a new ballet bar for bar classes, a new look lounge and bar with beer and wine with more large flat screens available. Touchless water fountains outside each spacious men's and women's locker rooms, showers, sauna, and whirlpool. Upgraded PA system throughout the world-class tennis courts and lessons for adults and juniors. I promise you'll look and feel better. You just need to walk through the front door. Also, Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness with personal trainers Christy London and Randall Corley. 40-plus group exercise classes, including twice-a-week boot camp. So start today, not tomorrow, at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lakeshore Drive in Waco.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trust the doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Go inside. Nice defense by Reavers. But outside they go. And the three is down the hatch. Jared Butler.
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house.
Now here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
You know, there's a lot of names that we have brought up over recent months and really over the last year with SicEm365 Radio with the men's basketball championship run, and a lot of guys who put up a bunch of points, Vinnie Johnson, Terry Teagle, among others. Aundre Branch averaged 16 points a game in his 4 years at Baylor, and that's after he averaged just a couple of points a game when he was a freshman. He joins us now. He's the head coach at Caney Creek High School in the Conroe School District on SicEm365 Radio. Man, you filled it up back then, and do you feel like sometimes, Aundre, you're not forgotten, but maybe that not enough credit for how good you were at Baylor?
Hey, it is what it is, man. I mean, all I can do is just appreciate the opportunity that I got to even get an opportunity to play college basketball, and being an outstanding player in high school and got to Baylor. It actually, woke me up to say, hey, I need to go in the gym and work and get some stuff, improve on some stuff. And if you look at what I did at Baylor, I don't think there's ever happened in probably college basketball for what I did. I mean, I scored 1,000 points, and it took me 2 years. It didn't take me long.
No, you averaged 18, then 19, then 22 points a game. And you almost didn't finish Baylor, did you? I mean, not because of academics, but because of the coaching change in probation?
Yeah, I was actually going to leave my first year, and then the coaching switch came in with Darryl Johnson taking over, and he reached out to me and just promised me that, hey, you coming back to Baylor, you're going to be able to do this and do that. And so I sat and talked with my parents about it because I was looking to go somewhere else. And I came back, and he said, hey, you got to work. And I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. And his word was true. I mean, he used to tell me, Aundre, if you don't shoot the ball 20 times a game, I'm pulling you out. You shoot too good to not. And he would do it in the game, would just pull me out if I didn't shoot the ball. So he didn't have to tell me one more time. I mean, I was letting it go.
That's always music to a guard's ears, is shoot the ball more. Aundre, what was it like for you watching Baylor's run to the national championship this year?
It was exciting to see this year for them to get an opportunity to actually win. And then I've been following them over the years, even though I went off to go play professionally, and coming back home, just happy to be part of this history of getting these young guys where they at now to now finally hang the trophy. And then I went to the parade, and I had my daughter with me, and I took her, and I grabbed and hugged her. I was like, wow, this is what all my hard work, what I did here at Baylor, represented, give these young men an opportunity to actually raise that trophy. And so it stuck my heart.
How important was that for you and other former players, that there was so much from Scott Drew and the coaches that was about not only the run that these current guys were on, but also including the former players like yourselves who helped lay the foundation, which we saw, big time at the parade with all the guys that showed up?
That was a huge class act for Scott and the program to invite us in and actually have us to be part of the parade. That was even bigger for us to walk down in the parade. And, a lot of the fans were seeing us. And you got to remember, I haven't been on Baylor's campus in about 20 plus years. And some of the fans remember who I was. And, back then I had hair and I don't have hair now. And they still remember who I was. And a bunch of the ex-players that was there prior to me, just to see that shows how big our Baylor family is. But that was awesome for the Baylor program to have us to be there with the players. That was great.
So what was it like being back near campus, on campus for the first time in 20 plus years? Waco's a little different. Baylor's a little different, huh?
Everything about it is different. I used to come back to Waco a lot. I would come and, meet up with some of the players at Baylor because me and Coach Tane, we knew each other from Houston, and Coach Brooks also. So they allowed me to come down and work with some players. And when I was playing with the Globetrotters, I would always come back too. But it seems like every year the whole city looks different. The campus definitely looks different. And walking on campus is just like, wow, look at this. But I wish we'd have had some of those resources that these guys have now. It would be great.
Aundre Branch with us on SicEm365 Radio. You just had an opportunity to take over a program for the first time. You've been coaching at Caney Creek for I think the last 4 years. You told me on a couple of text messages you were hired at the end of May for your first head coaching job. What was that like, and what responsibilities do you feel? It's now your program.
I came to Caney Creek High School in June of 2017. I was actually in the car business before that, and I had to pass the certification test. As soon as I passed it, I just started blasting my my resume out, and the head coach that was there, he had just recently gotten the job like a week before I came in. So we both came in together and put our heads together and started getting the program built up, and then an opportunity came for him, and I took over. But sitting there at that desk, when they called me in, they said, hey, you need to get to the office like ASAP. And so we sat down. I was like, okay, they're going to tell me they didn't give it to me. So I was just embracing myself. And so they was like, hey, look, we want you to be our next head coach. And my heart just jumped out because I always wanted to be a head coach. And most importantly, it was just 3 weeks before that, me and Nelson Haggett, who just passed away, we just had a very long conversation because I was trying to figure out why couldn't I get an opportunity, what was holding me back. And he was just being a mentor to me. And so that's all I could think about was me and Nelson talking. And I couldn't give him a call to let him know that, hey, man, the prayers was answered. Like, they finally got me. So it's still emotional right now.
When you heard about Nelson, what was your initial reaction other than shock?
Let's just say I was in California when I got the news, and security came to my room because they didn't know what was going on. I just screamed and hollered because me and Nell had just saw each other. We was at the parade together, and we just talked. And our last words was, "Man, be careful. We'll see each other down the road." I saw his daughters and things like that. And he texted when you get home. And that particular night, I never got a text from him. I didn't get a phone call from him. And I knew he was coming to Houston that same weekend, so we was going to get together and have dinner. And to get that call, it's just, I still to this day, I can't believe it, that it happened.
Aundre Branch, former Baylor guard, and someone who could fill it up, no question about it, for Baylor in the 90s, with us, head coach at Caney Creek High School and SicEm365 Radio.
Aundre, what did you learn about basketball when you were with the Globetrotters? Because it's more, it's such a huge show, and it's a part of our American fabric of entertainment now. But being an ambassador for the game and getting kids enthusiastic about basketball in maybe a way that is very unconventional to what you would normally think.
Yeah, when I first got with the Globetrotters, I couldn't believe that I had an opportunity to play for a team that introduced basketball to me. And then getting a chance to go out and just entertain and bring families together, having that role of responsibility of having true character and doing all the professional things you need to do as a basketball player, and representing such a huge organization that, probably about only 600 players I've had the opportunity to play for, and it's a very unique group. So getting a chance to come out and play and just showcase my skill each and every night of shooting the basketball and laughing and having fun, all the things I love to do. And I got a chance to do it for 8 years. And then on top of that, I was upgraded to become an advanced ambassador, which means I go out in front of the team before they come to the city. And I do all the speaking engagements, schools, charities, whatever we need to do. And then I come back and play. So that was a huge honor to go out and represent the team like that.
How many places did being a member of the Globetrotters take you?
I've been to 59 countries while I've been with the Globetrotters.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 passports.
Wow. That's cool though, right?
Yeah.
What a life experience that is. You've seen so many things in so many different places that even people who try to travel that much will never be able to see. So how has that help shape your character, help shape you as a person, seeing, outside of just the walls of our own country?
It was, like I said, just a humbling feeling just to be even considered. There's a lot of basketball players out there in this world. I've met them and seen them, and even when I came to camp, it was over 100 guys at training camp, and they only kept 2 of us. So they were looking for something very unique, and of course, basketball is one thing. And then the second thing is, who you are as an individual and a person. And that I assume that's what it separated me from everybody else, is who I am as a person. And man, going out and all the countries I've been to and some of the exclusive places I got a chance to go that, you know, the average person probably have to pay, but I was just there spending the basketball, smiling and having fun. I mean, that was huge. I think one of the places when I went to Afghanistan, and we went to one of Saddam Hussein's actual houses that they turned to a hotel. So I was like, wow, just, you know, blown away, like getting a chance to see those type of things just by playing the game of basketball.
So wait a minute. So you played professionally before the Globetrotters. You went to Venezuela, China, Turkey, France, Spain, and Dominican Republic. And then you went to like 50 more countries after that?
Yes. I did. So it was the way they discovered me. So the Globetrotters used to play against colleges, professional teams. They actually competed before they would do their entertainment season. Training camp was here in Houston, so we always at the Houston Funded Recreation Center, well known here in Houston. And I go there every morning and work out, and you got all the NBA players, overseas guys in there playing, and they picked me out then, but I was still under contract in Spain at the time. So I told them once I come back, we can sit down and talk. And I talked to my daughter at the time, and she was turning 5, and I told her mom, I said, hey, look, if she turns 5, I will slow down with the traveling. I'll try to find something here in the States. And it just so happened, boom, the Globetrotters called me. And what really got me was the fact that it wasn't the money. It was just more or less what it produced for my family, you know, health insurance and things like that. I got a daughter, and I was paying everything out of pocket. So I was like, you know, health insurance, and then for the amount of money they was giving me just to stay home. And plus I'm home. It's like, you can't beat that. And I have guys ask me all the time, like, man, why are you playing with the Globetrotters? Man, I'm in there with NBA guys, and they say, hey, what do you play? I say, I play with the Globetrotters. They say, what? So I say, man, look, it's a choice. I mean, I'm talented enough to go on the NBA level, but it just didn't work out for me. I choose to be here, to go out and just play every single day and go to every different city to bring, you know, different families together, people going through situations. And my job is, by the time they come out of there, to put them in the best position when they leave. And that's what I loved about it.
I was a kid and saw the Meadowlark and Curly Neal and all them back in the day. This would have been back when I was a kid in Virginia in the early 70s. Is there anything more almost like American or red, white, and blue than a Globetrotters?
Nothing close other than the American flag. That's about it. And that was the key thing about our colors, because we want to go out and just show everyone that, hey, you know, America's a good place. You know, there are some countries that Americans can't even go into, and the Globetrotters are there to break those barriers down, to let them know that, hey, not everybody's bad. You may have some situations or misunderstandings, but we used to bring countries together just by playing a game of basketball. And I'm just glad to be part of that history. I mean, it's a very historical team, and I don't think that the Globetrotters get enough credit for what they've done for basketball and American history just by the game of basketball.
Now, obviously, you probably could spin a basketball, but how much do you have to practice that, as much as you guys do, all the tricks and everything, the stuff that you could already do, and then level it up for, you know, performance level every night?
I mean, we practice every single day, every single day. And I play close to 200 games a year. So I'm practicing every single day, sometimes twice on Saturdays and Sundays. So a lot of times when I look at on TV and I see some of these guys, they talk about they sitting out games for load management and you know, they sprain a finger or broke a nail or something. They sitting out for 2 months for that. And I'm like, man, y'all couldn't make it playing with us. And, you know, we had a couple of NBA guys that actually came and played with us. And some of them was like, man, we did not know that you guys worked that hard. Like, it's different. The respect went up once they was able to put our jerseys on the seat. We had to do night in and night out, and you have to be on your game. It's not like, oh, you have an off game. So put that time in, and every single day I'm at the gym, I'm getting up 1,000 shots before the game and working on all our craft. I mean, that's what I did every single day, regardless of if I was here in the United States or if I was in France or wherever we was going. We had to do it every single day.
Yeah, I think one of the things that a lot of times gets overlooked is how really good you guys were and that you could compete with pretty much anybody. Everyone looked at it as at times because it was entertainment, the half-court shots and all the music and all that. But you guys were really, really good. Did you want sometimes, and you mentioned you played against college or even some pro teams, did you want sometimes you wish you could have gotten into a league for just a year and see how it would have worked out?
Of course. That was always a thought, but once I had got to that level of not chasing that NBA dream, I pretty much was settled for where I was at. I mean, my last shot was in 2000 with the Houston Rockets, and then once I didn't make it there, I just say, I'm just going to go ahead and just continue to do this here, and if God blessed me with another opportunity, then I would take it. But that was pretty much it in 2000. It seemed like every year I had an opportunity to get an NBA look, get invited to camp. It was either NBA lockout, and then for myself in '98, I tore my patella tendon in my knee, and that was a life changer for me. So I felt like it was just, I don't think it's what God had for me. I think the Globetrotter side is what He wanted me to do. I got a chance to see the world. I got a chance to change somebody's lives. I got an opportunity to introduce basketball to kids as the Globetrotters did to me when I was a child. So I think that's what He had in store for me, and I embraced it, and I was able to do it for 8 years, and now I'm here at Caney Creek, and it's the same thing. It's like I've been through the high school thing, and I've been through the whole college thing, and I've been through the whole professional side of it, and now I can show these guys, hey, look, this is what it's going to take, because I didn't have that guidance when I was coming up. I was just doing it because I wanted to survive. It was either me going to college or me in these streets here in Houston, Texas. So I chose basketball, and it worked out for me.
Aundre, you mentioned the rec center in Houston, Fonde Rec Center in Houston. Can you imagine an all-star team that would come out of there and how good that team, you mentioned, there's an article by Jerry Hill. This is like 5 years ago. I happened to catch it on Google. Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Moses Malone was there, Gary Payton, Andre Branch. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, to be in the gym with those guys and seeing the respect that they were giving me, and I wasn't an NBA label player, but if I walked in the gym, I would be on the floor before any NBA guy. So to have that, and then like you said, hey, did you ever dream about going to the NBA? And you see, like, man, what is it about me that I can't at least just get a shot? And I think not getting a shot was worse than anything. And then also like the stuff that happened at Baylor when I was playing there. I read the articles, I see some of the stuff or whatever. And all I can do was every day was represent Baylor University. We went through so much, 3 head coaches and over 19 assistants. And then the whole situation that happened with the young men after we left there. But prior to that, my junior and senior year, we were on probation. Like, we was playing for pride. We couldn't go to the Southwest Conference tournament. And so I was just playing games. And even that last year, my senior year, me and Nelson, we were going to transfer it in because we felt like we was getting penalized for something we wasn't involved in. And I didn't think it was fair, but I told Nell, you know what? We've been here for 4 years. These fans want to see us, man. And every single day we had fans in the stand giving us a standing ovation because we played our hearts out. Although the record didn't show, but every game we competed hard, and teams were happy to get out of that gym with a victory. So just to do that and show that Baylor pride, that was great for us.
And y'all went through all that, and now they're the national champions, and they beat arguably, what everybody is saying is like one of the greatest teams of all time. What was going through your mind? I know you kind of spoke on it earlier, but what was going through your mind as you watched that national championship game and it just kind of settled in, like where you guys were so many years ago to where the program is now?
You can see the big difference. I think what I've seen more on that floor was a team effort more than individual effort. Guys was playing together, and they, held each other accountable, and at the same time, they shared the stage with each other. Me and Nell, we talked about that all the time. Like, why couldn't we do this? Why couldn't we do that? I mean, we was individuals. Our mentality was totally different back then. It was like, no, I got to be the man. I got to get all the highlights as opposed to we got to get the highlights. And that's where those guys has played that every single night. And watching what they did through this whole tournament, I was just sitting there just like, hey, I'm over here stretching. I'm like, I'm texting Coach Drew, man, put me in. I want some of that too. The way they just controlled that game and dominated, it was unbelievable. And I think I think that last year when we were down here in Houston, and I'm talking about Baylor, when we played Duke and we had that game won and the whole situation with Quincy Acey, and they took that game away. I think that was the payback right there of us fighting all the negative talk and fighting this and fighting that. And, you know, Drew and all his coaching staff, they all just kept pushing like we're going to get it. And it was our time. And I really think last year, had we finished the season out, I think we'd have won that one too, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, getting a chance to come to parade, I know I'm fast forwarding, but meeting those two guys, Donovan Mitchell and Jared, meeting those guys and sitting down and talking to them and just giving my praise to them and telling them how much I enjoy watching them play. And, you know, some of the stuff I saw them do, it was like I have a young kid that reminds me of Donovan Mitchell and like, hey, this can be you. You just got to put your mind to it. So I get a chance to actually be in the same room with those guys, and they welcome me in, they thank me. And I mean, someone was like, hey man, I heard about you. You know, I was like, well, I heard about you too. So, but I've been following Baylor. I've been following the Baylor women to see both programs excel like they have been doing. And even the football program, you know, Baylor sports is now, when you start talking about prestigious schools, you know, you can speak about North Carolina, you can speak about Duke, but Baylor is going to be on that list for years to come.
Aundre was a part of, and is a part of the Baylor Hall of Fame. You heard the great stories about his pro career overseas, also the Globetrotters, humble Kingwood High School that won a state championship a few years after you graduated, which I know was a thrill for you. Aundre, thank you very much for reminiscing and also just kind of talking about life, and good luck with your opportunity at Caney Creek.
Thank you guys very much, and I wish everyone well down in Baylor land, and Sic'Em Bear.
Yes, sir. Aundre Branch, the head basketball coach at Caney Creek High School from Kingwood High School.
Yeah, he was great. He was fantastic. Great to walk down memory lane with him, and good luck to him, you know, with coaching coming up. And sounds like he's in a good place, and just very interesting to get all the you know, kind of insight into the Globetrotters and what that life is like. But it's also just cool, like especially guys that were here when Drew first arrived. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one thing for the guys in the 70s and the 80s, and I know they went through a lot too, but like for those scandal guys to see, you know, where the program was and to see where it is right now, like I just can't even imagine what that must feel like. And that's why we always just want to hear more all the time, is like hear their thoughts, because it just has to, I mean, I don't think there are words to use to adequately describe what that probably feels like.
Well, when we had Tweety on last week, and I know we go against a break, and Craig's got some news and update on the young man from University High who was killed just a few weeks ago. It was almost like the Duke game was a cleansing of that moment. But we'll come back with more. Craig's got news on the young man from University High. Madden 22, some news and notes on that. The UIL on whether they'll allow television streaming during the season coming up in 2021 and more. And this is SicEm365 Radio.
Richard Carr, Buick GMC Cadillac. They've got great savings going on right now over at Richard Carr. You can take full advantage of their great deals by giving them a phone call or by showing up over at the dealership. Either way, they can get you a test drive. And a lot of people out on the roads as the temperatures heat up. Travel is here. It's right in front of us. A lot of you may have already been on the road, or you're gearing up to go somewhere this summer. Well, with travel back, that means so are the savings at Richard Carr Motors. With a summer savings event, you can get back on the road with luxury, safety, and space. That all comes with a Buick. And right now, Buick SUVs are all priced to move. Current Buick or GMC owners get 16% off new 2021 Buick Encores, 13% on Encore GXs, 9% on midsize Buick Envisions, or 13% on all full-size Buick Enclaves. And Richard Carr is also loaded with premium pre-owned cars and trucks. All pre-owned cars and trucks are priced to move during the summer savings event, with multiple cars and trucks priced under $230 a month for qualified buyers. And each pre-owned vehicle goes through a 172-point inspection before it hits the lot. With dozens of lenders, they say yes when others say no. 100% credit approval is always Richard Carr's goal. And they are your local hometown dealership, so give them a chance to earn your business with great prices, free oil changes on new cars and trucks, and superior service after the sale. So come by and take a test drive, or once again, let them bring the test drive to you. It's a summer savings event going on all month at Richard Carr.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more. Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible and rewarding challenge. Hi, everyone. This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like mortgage lending, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Don Humidor, your home with a 48-foot walk-in humidor with the elite cigar brands from around the world, including the #1 cigar of the year, Aging Room Cuatro Nicaragua. Plus, they have the great brands like Macanudo and Artur Fuente, Rocky Patel, Aston, and so much more. CBD, great for sore muscles, aches and pains, sleep, Vita Dreams, and anxiety, mild depression, general health and wellness. Their staff very knowledgeable on the subject. If anyone is curious about CBD, ask Carol and Ashley. Don Humidor in the Townwest Shopping Center off Valley Mills in Waco.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Do it today by searching SicEm365 on YouTube.
All right, 4:43, this 4 o'clock hour rolling along. We're going to hear from Drew Pittman and Dr. Ueckert on BrainVault.com, which is about concussions. It's a device that they have founded and also now out in the market on how it can decrease and in some cases really make a difference when it comes to concussions. And that's kind of I didn't mean it as a segue. When we had Mike Singletary on, one of the questions we asked was about the broken helmets. And then I asked him about the hardest hit he's ever been a part of. And we're now joined by Dennis Gentry, former Baylor Bear star, and Bears Super Bowl champion, teammate with Mike Singletary. And I didn't know what to expect, Dennis. And Mike drops your name as the toughest and the hardest hits, and the fact he broke 2 helmets in one practice on you. Does that what did that bring back? Flashbacks of fear or what?
Both. I tell you, I that is absolutely true. We had this drill where we had to. It's like a fullback had to lead block on the linebackers, it's like an ISO play. And Mike was sending the linebacker, and I was halfback / fullback. Matter of fact, I was fullback for Walter Abercrombie. But we had a head-on collision twice in one practice, and we broke 2 helmets. He and I went head-on and broke 2 helmets. And we got out of practice about 10 or 15 minutes. They brought 2 new helmets back down because they didn't believe what was going on. But we broke 2 helmets that practice. Absolutely.
Dennis, it makes me think back to how practices used to be compared to how they are now in the NFL, which if you broke a helmet, it's because a meteor hit it. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen because they're not hitting like that anymore. But how much did that make you guys, those Bears teams, so tough because you did practice at that intensity level?
Well, we was always taught we want to, practice like we play or play like we practice, how we want to put it, play like we practice. And we went full speed on every drill. That's what made us good, better, not best, because we practice that way. And that's the way Corky Nelson, Wade Turner, Cotty Davis, all the coaches taught. The only way we get better, we're going to practice like it's Saturday of a game. And we got used to it, and that's the way we perform each weekend.
All right, so I have this comment. I'm going to put you on hold, Dennis, if you don't mind, so you could actually hear Mike Singletary try to describe my question for him, and I bring up a play between Earl Campbell and Jack Tatum, which is one of the most violent plays I've ever seen in my life. And we'll get into Mike. Here it is. We're going to put Dennis on hold, and here's Mike Singletary again on Dennis Gentry.
Like I've asked Earl Campbell, what was the hardest hit he can remember? And, of course, he's delivered a bunch of them, but there was the Jack Tatum hit at the goal line.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I'm surprised both of them just, they didn't evaporate. Was there one in particular you remember the most out of the hundreds or maybe thousands of collisions you had?
I'm going to tell you one of the toughest guys, and this makes me very proud to say this. Because he's also a friend. But Dennis Gentry, I broke 2 helmets in the same practice on Dennis Gentry. And Dennis Gentry is just a little guy.
Yep.
A little running back. But let me tell you something. When Corky wanted somebody that was going to block, he called Gentry. I don't care where Gentry was on the field. He's, where's Gentry? He knows what I'm talking about. And Gentry would come down there and would run as hard as anybody, would run over you, was a tremendous competitor. And for a small guy, he was a guy that, hey, you have to take notice. You have to buckle up your stuff if you're going against Gentry. And so Gentry was the guy I loved practicing against Gentry because you're going to get better. He's going to give you everything you had. And so that practice, I'll never forget, we had 2 practices. We had one practice, and I think it was 2 a days. One practice, I cracked 2 helmets, split them straight down the middle, and it was Gentry.
All right, Dennis, you heard. That's the evidence.
Hey, no, I can't. First of all, I appreciate the nice comments you made about me, and I can't tell you that is absolutely true because back then I was only 172 pounds when I was a baby, and Mike was like 2 1/4, and just think 2 1/4 versus 172 pounds going head to head. Something was going to break. If not here, it was my head on my shoulder. Something was bound to happen, but. It made both of us better and tougher because we know what it's going to be like on the next level in the NFL. So he prepared me, and I prepared him for challenges on the next level. Mike always been like that. He did everything for speed. If we took a break to go get water, he would do that for speed. That was just the type of guy he was. He didn't take a break. He wanted to be picture perfect in every drill.
What did it mean to be able to play on the same professional team together after being in college together for so long and knowing that you pushed each other to those levels?
You know what? It was a blessing because, first of all, he's not a friend, he's a brother to me, a big brother to me. And when I got there, he had the same intensity in the NFL that he had in college. Full speed every play. And to go play with him, I was excited when I was drafted by the Chicago Bears because I'm going back to compete and challenge the guy that made me better in college.
Dennis, we just thought it would be great to have you on. I was able to visit with Mike. I've never heard him more peaceful about everything in life that he's going, as far as what he's doing, the role he has in life and society. And he brought that up. And I said, you know what, Paul, you're the one that suggested. He goes, well, I guess we need to call Dennis Gentry. And so we did. And we appreciate you kind of reflecting back on that. Did you ever keep any of those broken helmets?
No, I didn't. I wish I had, just for old time's sake. But what we need to do is get him out together and go get a couple of helmets from Baylor. And we'll go out there and break them and put them in shells again. But no, I wish I had it. At that time we broke them and we did not worry about where the pieces went. We just luckily we broke the helmet and break anything else.
Dennis, thank you very much for joining us today, and then kind of reflecting back on it.
Anytime you don't talk football, call me and Mike.
Absolutely. Dennis Gentry, former Baylor wide receiver, Bears kick returner. As Mike even said, great special teams player because he was so tough. On the actual story of Mike Singletary saying he's the toughest player he ever faced, practice or in a game.
So when I've gone through all my cards and stuff, I got a lot of, mainly my collection is 90s because that's when I collected them. So I've still been sorting through, and there's cards that are damaged that I'm just kind of tossing to the side or whatnot. But I probably have 15 Dennis Gentrys. I got a ton of Dennis Gentrys. And I vividly remember just stumbling upon him every deck. There was a Dennis Gentry in there, it felt like. So I automatically think of that. I'm going to have to get him to sign one of those one day, maybe if he rolls through the studio or something like that.
We'll send him they'll send an envelope with a couple of the cards. I guarantee you he'll do it.
So when we had Dennis Gentry on the show last year, I have a buddy, and we posted online, I have a buddy on Facebook and Twitter who's from Chicago, that the 85 Bears, he was probably 5 or 6 years old when that was going on, but he grew that team wherever they went in Chicago, even years after. It doesn't matter. Right now, you could send Dennis Gentry, Dennis McKinnon, guys who weren't, Mike Singletary and Jim McMahon and the superstars that Tim McMichael, but you could send anybody from that team, whatever it was, 85 Bears, into a sports bar in Chicago and tell people they're going to be there. And it would just be packed with people going, the Bears, yay! Yeah. I mean, they just love it. And when we had Dennis Gentry on, he said, I wish I would have known. He sent me 75 questions about the 85 Bears. And because that team is beloved in that city.
Forever and ever, amen. They are. And in that interview I had, and we'll go to Craig's story about University High, is that Wilbur Marshall's the guy that Mike Singletary, another great, incredibly talented linebacker that he mentions he thinks should be a part of the Hall of Fame. We hear about some Cowboys that get overlooked or other teams, and here the Bears have a few, and he thought Wilbur Marshall's somebody that's overlooked.
Wilbur Marshall and Sam Mills fall in that same category for me, in that I don't understand why the two of them
are not.
You're not.
Maybe they'll be a part of the next wave or so that they have, the large chunks of players that they added in the last year or two. All right, Craig, you have an update on the sad story out of University High from a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we got the news coming across that basketball and football, and obviously student athlete, the young sophomore, Tidrian Felder, at 17 years old, had been shot in an apartment complex and died as a result of that shooting. I remember being very angry that day of just, the fact that there's a 17-year-old young man that's just needlessly dying because of just some, stupid thing. And I remember saying, hope they catch whoever it is. And there's good and bad to this. The good is that this does not appear as though it was an intentional act. So it wasn't like a crime was occurring and, somebody was trying to rob him or it was a fight. But the sad part is it was accidental, which kind of is almost a double whammy. And Waco police have announced that they have arrested a 17-year-old young man. His name's available if you want to read it. I just don't feel the need to. But he has been charged with manslaughter in connection with the shooting. Apparently they were in the complex on May 14th. And at some point the young man was handling a gun and it discharged, and the bullet hit Felder and subsequently killed him. It was a shot to the abdomen, which is a bad place to get shot in the stomach. I've heard that's getting a shot's painful, but that's really bad. So yeah, 17-year-old young man, accidental, according to Waco police, and now in custody, and just sad all the way around.
All right, when we come back, thank you for the update on that with Tidrian Felder. In the 5 o'clock hour, Drew Pittman, NFL agent for nearly 30 years, and a friend of his who's a doctor, a dentist in the Austin area. They've come up with Brain Vault, and it's called, you go to brainvault.com. We're going to have them locked in on Zoom to tell us about Brain Vault. It's kind of something, if you're a parent, you have a kid playing or just are interested in it, about concussions, so much time and energy and the lawsuits and so much more, the way football has changed. We'll have Dr. Ueckert and also Drew Pittman coming up next on SicEm365 Radio.
With more than 160,000 alumni worldwide and counting, the Baylor family is growing. And through the university's expanded Baylor alumni program, the family is growing closer. With hundreds of local volunteers planning events in cities and towns around the country, you can gather with fellow Bears no matter where you are. So, get connected, get something started, get involved, and make plans to get together with Baylor alumni. Visit us at baylor.edu/alumni.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco, and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, rye, brimstone, and the all-new Lineage in stock. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Did you know that 1 out of every 4 men have symptomatic low levels of testosterone and don't even know it? And if you think you're too young to worry about it, guess again. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, cause weight gain, and wreak havoc on your sexual desire and performance. Petty Clinic Low T can set up same-day blood screening and results, so if you're tired of being tired, I challenge you to man up and Google search Low T Waco or go online pettycliniclowt.com. It's a private clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Affordable, only $150 a month, includes lab work, office consultation, testosterone injections, follow-up visits compared to $395 a month in Dallas or Austin, and you don't have to fight the traffic. Petty Clinic Low T is board-certified physician consultations, will provide the best form of brand-strength testosterone available. Contact Petty Clinic Low T today, just off Highway 84 and Old Hewitt Drive in Woodway. Petty Clinic Low T, helping men become the high-performance men they deserve to be. PettyClinicLowT.com or Google search Low T Waco.
Let
Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction. With a team of 28 experienced agents who are excited about serving you, Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio.
Daniels 7 yards deep in his own end zone, and he's going to be sacked, and that'll be 2 points for the Bears. Terrell Bernard.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Tom Albers, staying in touch with you and your money through these difficult and changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Now, here's David Smoak, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoak.
If you have not heard discussion about concussions, the NFL, and not just the NFL, but around football in general and life in general, then you haven't been paying attention or you've been under a rock for a long, long time. Drew Pittman, 29-year-old, he wishes, right? 29-year veteran NFL agent, and also Dr. Gregg Ueckert, who's a dentist as well, are the co-founders of Brain Vault. And both of them join us now on Zoom, Dr. Ueckert and also Drew Pittman. We appreciate their time. So how did all this come together? Drew, is this a part of what you represent as players? And Gregg, because of what you do with dentistry and knowing and seeing the damages?
Hey, Smoak, good to be with you, man. It's been a while since I've seen you. And, hey, how great is Mike Singletary, huh?
Oh, yeah, he was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
He's awesome. Well, as you know, Smoak, I've been an agent for 29 years. I wish I was 29 years old, but that's not the case. And so it's been really personal for me. Because of having clients who have suffered the effects of concussion and brain injury and, just some of the things that happen, not necessarily while they're playing, but, years after. And so it was a passion project for me. I was interested in finding something that would help the players, and was introduced to Dr. Ueckert and 14 years ago. We've been at this a long time, and he's probably one of the smartest guys I know, and he was on to something, and he shared it with me, and we got the ball rolling. And it's been interesting because it's been a little harder than what you would expect. You would think when you have something that you can prove scientifically can mitigate concussion and help reduce the risk of concussion, that everybody would be jumping on it. But from the NFL to just everyday people, we've been at it hard, and we're getting the word out.
Dr. Ueckert, most people wouldn't even think about a mouth guard, even though your mouth is certainly part of your head, when you are talking about concussions. Most people think it's got to be a helmet, and there are helmets that are out now that are, making those steps and preventing concussions, but they are thousands of dollars. I mean, and for a youth football player or high school, that's kind of out of the range. Where did it come about, doing the research on what a mouth guard can do, and what is the science behind what a mouth guard can do to prevent and mitigate concussions?
Right. So it all really is relative to how your lower jaw position really affects the strength of your neck. It's irrefutable that neck strength is probably the most important first-line defense against concussion. That's why all kids nowadays are doing something to train to make their neck stronger. What I know from my background in treating patients that have headache, neck ache, jaw joint problems for 25 years is that when I put the jaw in the right position and I take an x-ray of their neck, the bones in their neck realign as they ought to, and their pain goes away. So what we did was we kind of spun that recipe of aligning the jaw to align the neck to relieve pain in a pain patient, TMJ, TMD patient, and use a different delivery device called a mouth guard. We intentionally put the jaw in a position that will then subsequently align the neck, because muscles are attached to the bones in our neck. When we align the bones of the neck, the muscles are aligned together. Therefore, they will exert more force when recruited to do so. It's something that we theorized. We were in the league working with players for years, trying to do things like make heads rotate better, shoulders rotate better, knee pain go away, because we knew we had great control over head position with our jaw alignment IP. And in 2018, when we were up in Chicago working with the Bears, the GM began to talk to us a lot about concussion. And that really is where our heart lies. What I know is that as we close our jaw, it's the last 2 to 3 millimeters that the jaw really gets off track. So if we can design something like a mouth guard that prevents the jaw from getting off track, we maintain good jaw alignment, neck alignment, muscle position. Therefore, when we brace for impact, we can really recruit those muscles to stabilize the head, to prevent the head from accelerating too quickly, which is really the problem in concussion. It's not a contusion of the brain like we used to think, where you get a hit and football and your brain bounces against the inside of your skull and you get a bruise there. That's really not what's going on. What's going on is we have two hemispheres, right and left of our brain. They're connected together in the center by what we call the corpus callosum. And that basically is the hardwiring that allows the right and the left brain to communicate with one another. And in a collision that causes traumatic brain injury, or, the knockout blow concussion, what happens is we stretch that nerve tissue to the degree that it can transmit data. It basically makes the brain glitch. And if it glitches bad enough, you get knocked out. It may not glitch bad enough for you to be knocked out, but it can create trauma within the brain that is kind of insidious and basically undetectable on the sidelines when we do our concussion protocols, because lots of times it's the repetitive blows that can lead to the traumatic brain injury that might prevent a youthful brain from developing properly. Or like me, when I was playing football in college and, wasn't looking for the cornerback to come, and I got hit in the jaw and didn't get knocked out, but I got a traumatic brain injury that led me to have brain fog for weeks. I didn't know this at the time. This is all me deconstructing it in the past, but that's what we're trying to prevent, is brain trauma. And the best way to do it is to slow the head down a little bit. And it's irrefutable that neck strength really is the key.
And also one of the things I mentioned, Drew, on this, and this is something I'm sure you've seen in the agent game and just being youth and all the way up and watching it, these helmets I mentioned before, they're great stuff, but they're really expensive. When you have a mouth guard, even an expensive mouth guard, that's a price point that school districts or people, individuals, can handle more than buying a $1,500 helmet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's one of our core values, is we wanted to be able to bring safety, the mitigation of concussion to everybody, from regardless of age, regardless of level of ability. A lot of times the NFL guys are the guys that get the best equipment, but we wanted to make this at a price point where really anybody could get it. And it's if you think of it as a mouth guard, it's an expensive mouth guard, but what it is the technology, and the technology is just delivered through the mouth guard. And so, we're excited about it. Gregg talked about concussion being an acceleration issue, and to decrease acceleration, you have to either change velocity or time. And a helmet might be able to change time just a little bit. Think of a car bumper. It reduces the amount of time, or extends the amount of time. And a helmet might be able to do that. But the airbag is really the thing that decreases velocity. And so we like to think of Brain Vault as being like the airbag for sports.
Drew Pittman and Dr. Ueckert with us on SicEm365 Radio. Drew, you know this, especially as an NFL agent, and Gregg, you followed it. We all have that. Man, I tell you what, it took a long time. It took a lot of lawsuits or a lot of evidence and a lot of hearings or whatever for this. Did you find that there was anyone that was like trying to slow this down, or did everybody open it up in arms because it's about safety?
Yeah, I think it was Sorry, Greg. I think it was a little bit of both. There's a lot of people, these guys at NFL teams, they care about their players. They do. But they also, it's like any big ship, it takes a long time to turn it around. And and we'll just address from the time of the lawsuits being settled and not worry about the time before that. But it's Greg and I have spent a lot of time talking to team people, and we even had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Robert Cantu, who's the executive director of the Concussion Legacy Foundation, and he's like the go-to guy for the NFL, and really he's the foremost concussion doctor in the United States. And we had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Cantu and explain to him what we were talking about. And it was really cool because Greg's sitting here talking to Dr. Cantu and telling him things that Dr. Cantu didn't know. And as we explained it to him, he was like, wow, this really makes sense. We sent him some of our research and some of the science and had a follow-up call with him. And his comment was, you guys are on to something. He said, y'all keep going. He said this, in fact, his comment, Greg, you remember, was we need to get you on the next meeting of the NFL Head, Neck, and Spine Committee. So it's pretty cool when you find something, and I say it was Gregg that found it, that is so groundbreaking that the number one guy in concussion in the United States tells you you're on to something and tells you to keep going, and he's excited about it.
Yeah, he published a study that came out 4 years ago. It was a 2-year retrospective study. It was 6,700 high school kids, men, women, boys, girls, all different sports. The conclusion of the study was that if you increase neck strength by 1 pound, you decrease your probability of getting a concussion by 5%. And, on testing of our IP and also of our product testing, we found on average that we can increase neck strength up to 17 pounds. We're not saying we can prevent concussion, but we can certainly put you in a better position to deal with that blow. And we like to say mitigate, because no one can promise to prevent anything, but we certainly can put you in a better position to take a blow or to deliver one.
What are the results so far that you have seen or heard from those who have tried or used your device?
Yeah, we had roughly 100 NFL players that used the device, and there was not one single reported concussion. Gregg and I were up at the Combine a couple of years ago when we ran into a player who had a history of concussion, and he was now in coaching, and we saw him and said, hey, tell us what your experience was. And he was like, oh my gosh, you probably extended my career another couple of years. And so the experience has been great. Obviously, in the science world, they want to see testing. So Gregg's heading up the testing. We're doing another study here and probably around the end of the month. And using a high school football team, we're not disclosing who we're using, but using some high school football players. And a major university has picked it up, and they're doing an IRB study around it. So it's pretty groundbreaking. We'll have the science as well as just the actual people who have used it and had great results.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did. Our heart's always been in concussion. I know when we first got into this together, that's really where Drew and I really wanted to go. We had a couple of meetings with a GM in the NFL, and at that time, this was before the settlement and all occurred. We were encouraged to go the route of performance, and so we had lots of anecdotal information, data, measurements of shoulders rotating better, like I said, but in 2018, when things changed, that's when we knew we needed to instead of doing custom work, we needed to go develop a way to deliver this to the masses. I went into healthcare to help people, and honestly, I'm a dentist, so my 10 fingers really limit my ability to help people. But helping people in this concussion arena is huge. And we knew that we needed objective data. That's why we kind of stopped and refocused and said, okay, the performance stuff is cool and it's sexy, but the reality is we want to help mitigate concussion. We want to hang our hat on that. That's how we can help the most people. So That's why we set about designing these studies, testing our theories to prove what we had, so that instead of going and talking to somebody and going, oh, subjective things that they tell us, we have objective data to show that we can make necks stronger, and we can make them stronger immediately. And all you have to do is put a mouth guard in your mouth that has our IP built into it, and immediately you've got a stronger neck, which puts you in a better position to win.
Would you recommend this, Dr. Ueckert, for other sports like basketball or things where there are collisions, but it's not like football collisions?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the highest concussion rate that there is in female soccer. So, yes, I recommend it. Like Drew says, I think anywhere you chase a base, a ball, or what was it, Drew?
Baseball or a goal.
Baseball or a goal, I think you need to wear it because collisions occur.
Yeah. And Smoak, I don't know, Paul, you guys, if you saw, I posted something yesterday. I am a soccer guy too. Played soccer at SMU in college. And I was watching the Euro Championships yesterday, and there was a massive collision between a Ukrainian player and a Dutch player. And their heads did not collide, but both of them were knocked out of the game. And it was a great example. I actually posted on the Brain Vault CMT on both Twitter and Instagram, and anybody that's listening wants to go watch that. And you see the force that happens, and it's what Gregg was talking about, where there's not the contusion, but it's the shearing that goes on in the brain that's so dangerous. And you guys know me. I have two boys there at Baylor, and Gregg is a father of three sons that are playing everything, and so it's very personal to us because we had to weigh the fear of what could happen playing sports versus the benefits. And obviously we love the game of football. We love the other sports as well. We had some players here in Salado wearing a Brain Vault during the basketball season this year. And, we understand how parents feel, and we understand that there's fear of for their kids to get concussions playing sports. And when you're a parent and you're sitting in the stands and you're watching your child play, you want to enjoy it, and you don't want to be just constantly worried. And so hopefully this gives parents a little bit of peace and a little bit more joy watching their kids play sports.
It's amazing. The cost of it, first of all, go to brainvault.com, just like the two words combined.com. There's also on Twitter at BrainVaultCMT. If you want to follow Dr. Ueckert and Drew, obviously Pittman, it's at DP NFL Agent on Twitter as well. I believe the cost of the device is $175, give or take. Let me know if that's right or wrong. But also, if you use the code SMOAK, SMOAK25, you get a $25 discount off the device. Is that correct, Drew?
That is correct. Yeah, my Twitter is actually DP Football Agent.
Sorry.
We're pre-selling right now. We'll have product in shipping hopefully around the end of this month, and we're really excited to get these in the mouths of kids and just take a little bit of the pressure off the parents being able to watch their kids play.
No question about it. Of course, Lane, has helped with so much. Coach Taff is a part of this as a partner, I believe, as well, or a part of the company. Of course, what he represents as a man and all he does as well with what he's learned as the AFCA executive director. Anything else you guys want to add to what we've said?
Gregg? I just appreciate you all putting us on here today. We feel like we're sitting on top of a secret that we just have to get out. I feel like it's our life mission. I feel like it's what we're really put on this planet to do. I feel like the reason I was intended to be a dentist was so that I could do this. So I really appreciate you letting us come on the air, talk to your listeners about how to protect their kids. It's a simple thing that we're already using in our sports system. It's a mouth guard. It's just a special mouth guard with our IP built into it to make the kids safer when they play. And I know the price is $175. I appreciate you mentioning that. But also, it's made with a material that I think if you take care of this device, it literally could be the last mouth guard you buy. It literally could. You can refit this mouth guard up to 1,000 times. The overmold material we're using is very durable. So it's not a one and done thing. Yeah, you got to take care of it, but it could literally last you through your high school career.
Info@brainvault.com is an email address as well. I want to throw that in there for brainvault.com. Drew?
And I'm happy to visit with anybody. Gregg's happy to visit with anybody. We can explain more. We're just a couple of regular guys. We're dads and husbands, and we care about kids, and we want to help. And so anybody that wants to visit with us, you can get in touch with us at that info@brainvault, and Gregg and/or I will get back in touch with you.
Dr. Gregg Ueckert, again, a dentist, and also Drew Pittman, 29-year NFL agent, with us from brainvault.com. Thank you very much, both of you. Good luck with what you're doing the rest of the way and helping prevent this completely if we possibly can. You're not guaranteeing 100%, but you're guaranteeing there's an opportunity here to make a difference with concussions. Thank you again, Dr. Ueckert and Drew Pittman. When we come back, a lot of different stories to get to, including the NFL Madden 22, who's on the cover. They released a tease on that, and much more. And this is SicEm365 Radio. IdealMRI.com. I told this story last week, and I spoke with Dr. Maxey. What they do is help two things. Find out why something hurts so badly. A muscle, a ligament, something that is painful enough to where you can't function, you can't sleep. There's a lot of things you can't do, and maybe you got to the point where you start to pop pills, whether it's something as simple as Advil to something worse. You get to an MRI, you get a doctor to look at it, and the orthopedic surgeon says, we need to get an MRI. That's when then you need to tell your doctor what you want to do. You want to go to Ideal MRI in the Central Texas Marketplace in Waco, just off of I-35 in the southern part, just right there on the access road of 340 and Highway 6. Ideal MRI, an average MRI is $1,100. It's $497 or less every time. Not once out of every 3 times, not buy one, get 3 free. I'm talking every time, $497 or less at Ideal MRI. They have state-of-the-art technology. They have the specialists, the techs, the doctors to read it. And once you get there, once you get the information, you get the evidence, they will send it to you and also to whatever doctor you use to make sure they get it. And they're also starting to do screening for fatty liver disease. I went and had a screen last week as just a guinea pig to go through the system. It's the most simple screening you could possibly imagine. And then Dr. Gunn, who's working with them as well, then called me and told me my results were basically flawless. I didn't know, but maybe you don't know and you need to know. Of not only the pain of what's causing a problem with you, but also fatty liver disease. It's IdealMRI.com.
1, 2.
I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries. Celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas, our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Come see us at the new Baylor Scott and White Ted and Sue Getterman Sports and Orthopedic Center. Trusted doctors at Baylor Trust, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
From the first workout to the last practice, sports is an incredible challenge. Hi, This is Dan Ingham with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and we're proud to support each athlete, every parent, and our educators. From families, small businesses, to the biggest industry, we're here to help. With remarkable products like instant issue debit cards free at all of our banking centers, we've got banking ideas that fuel big dreams. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's an exciting time at Allen Samuels to enjoy the Chrysler Pacifica Minivan Month for the 2021 Chrysler 300 with values up to $5,250 or 0% for 84 months. Check out the 2021 Dodge Charger GT with values up to $4,250 or 0% for 72 months. Allen Samuels, the award-winning customer service Central Texas dealer, located at 201 West Loop 340, online at allensamuelsdcj.com.
Come by, let's be friends.
It's time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. Order 30-pound sacks of live crawfish by 6 on Wednesday. Pick up on Friday afternoon after 2 or Saturday. Enjoy the weekend. 30-pound sacks of live crawfish available right now for $4.25 a pound. Find all the crawfish boil ingredients you need, including red beef potatoes, sausage, corn cobbettes, and Louisiana boil seasoning. Make your order for live crawfish by Wednesday at 6. Pick up on Friday after 2 or all day Saturday, and enjoy the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh baked kolache, cinnamon rolls every day. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, house cured and smoked bacon, spices, seasonings, soup mixes, and more, and weekly gift boxes for any occasion. Waco Custom Marketplace, 425 Lake Air Drive in Waco, or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. Are you a SicEm365 super fan? Then try out our premium subscriptions at SicEm365.com.
All right, here we go, this 5 o'clock hour. Get to some of the stories we have not been able to get to, including Paul and Craig. I'm not into the video games, but I know millions upon millions upon millions are.
You know how we know you're not into video games?
Why,
Because you called it the video games.
Oh, okay. Madden 22 will be released, I guess, on the 17th, and they had a tease, a video trailer, so to speak, and 2 goats came walking out of a barn. Is that for the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I would think at least one of the people is going to be Tom Brady. I don't know who the other one would be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, they did the RG3 Barry Sanders cover. It'll be something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's likely what it will be. I don't play Madden. I haven't played it in a while, so this isn't something that gets me going, but I know a lot of people get excited for it, and I'm not sure what all they've changed with the game. I know the reviews weren't great the last couple of years on the game, so hopefully they've fixed some of the issues that people had, because I did see a lot of complaints, but it's always a big deal to see who's on the cover, and we'll see who it is. I have no idea, though. Brady would make sense, but he was just on it, I want to say, like a few years ago. But yeah, something with Legends, that's for sure, because it's going to be more than one person on the cover, which I'm actually not really a fan of, quite frankly. I would want, like with RG3's cover, I know that was cool, and he shared it with Barry Sanders, so that's awesome. But if I had my choice, I'd want that solo cover by myself, if at all possible. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see who it is.
You know, when there was a Madden curse, when just John Madden was on the cover of it, I would actually like to see Madden come back on the cover of
I saw a picture of him with Ronnie Lott recently.
Yeah. Well, I know he's older. Well, I mean, just a classic picture. I think one of the things that's sad about the video game now is it's been so long since John Madden has been on television, is that the people who play the video game don't understand why it's called Madden.
That's a possibility. That's a really good point. I don't know.
All I know is there's not anybody that will ever fill his shoes, because there's no single person in broadcasting right now that you would even consider making a video game with their name on the cover of it. I mean, who are you going to put on there? I'm searching for even names.
His induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame came a long time ago, but his impact on the game as a head coach who won a Super Bowl with the Raiders and was the big, large human being ranting and raving on the sidelines of the Raiders. But his impact was more as a television. He's a great coach. His winning percentage is insane. but his impact as a broadcaster and a video game is much bigger. And for some, that's all they know about.
Many years ago, when I was on the John Morris show, he got Pat Summerall on the show, which there's two things about that interview I always think of is, one, when I called Pat Summerall and he said hello, and I was like, oh, crap, it really is Pat Summerall. You have that voice, and it was just unmistakable. And then I asked him about it. I said, you grew up, video games weren't your thing. I mean, you were already, in your 60s when you started voicing one. He said it was the hardest work he'd ever done in his life, voicing that video game, because he had to read every roster and then say things. And then if they said, oh, hey, the way that you said Barry Sanders wasn't good there, read it 17 more times, different each way. And he's like, you ever watched me do a game before? I mean, I kind of just say it one way, but it was how it was and how they had to do it. They need all these samples. I couldn't imagine.
All right, Jack, I just sent you another email. Okay, he's going to get this up. I had an experience over the weekend, and I'll tell you that in just a second. One note on the track and field championships. I mentioned Akira Nugent at Baylor finishing third in the 100 meters. Cambria Sturgis won the women's 100 and 200 meters. Mm-hmm. She's from North Carolina A&T.
An HBCU, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was cool. I actually watched it. USC's Anna Cockrell was an amazing champion in the 100 and 400 meter hurdles, but I thought that story with Cambria Sturgis was incredible. Jack, you ready to go? Okay. Imagine not paying attention. You're going to go unlock the door of your apartment, your condo, your house. Look at this right here. That looks like regular artwork to me. It almost blends in with the gray and all of that.
Okay.
Just imagine.
So I have that exact same lock on my door, and when you just showed this picture, I thought was head of my house.
Can you imagine? Now, Craig, I'm petrified, and now I'm almost intrigued by him, and I'm going to prove that in a second. What would you do? How do you get to the out? What do you do?
You know what I do?
I'd grab it by the neck as long as it wasn't poisonous, and I'd rip it right off that doorknob and throw it in the yard somewhere.
What?
That's what I would do. If it's not poisonous, why? I mean,
show it again, Jack. Let's see what kind of snake this is. Let's see. Red touches black, friend of Jack, right?
That's
red touches
not a coral
yellow.
Snake, obviously. No, it's not a copperhead. It is a boa moccasin.
That's not a thing.
Oh, okay. But what it's got? But it looks like a triangle head, doesn't it? Or is that just the regular snake head? All right, that was something that TJ.
It's poised to strike. That's what's kind of freaky about it, is that you definitely probably get bit trying to handle it. But
you
if it's
said you would grab it by the back of the neck.
If it's a non-poisonous, I've grabbed a snake. I had some buddies that they'd be real cute and funny. This is like 20 years ago. So we're at my buddy's apartment, and this guy he's actually from Killeen. This guy we met through, TJC or whatever. So him and his buddies from Killeen had a pet snake, and he kept it in this small apartment in the closet in like its glass aquarium case, right? So one day he's showing it to us, and I don't remember who it was, but one of my buddies decides it'd be a funny idea. Let's push him in the closet and close it and lock it.
Are you?
And they didn't, and the lights are out. So I'm sure that would freak some people out. Not me. I reached down with what little light I guess I had, and I grabbed the snake by the back of the neck or whatever. I made sure it could breathe and everything, but it was a harmless snake. It's like that. And so when they finally decided, after I kind of fake acted like, no, seriously, let me out, the whole time I'm holding this snake. As soon as they opened that door, dude, the first dude that saw me, his eyes get big as saucers, and he legitimately sprinted out of the bedroom, through the front door, down the stairwell, and was out in the parking lot. And was just like, dude, get that away from me. The other buddies ran onto the back balcony. I could have forced them over the balcony if I wanted to. I did not. But yeah, I was like, okay. And they never locked me in a closet with a snake again because they realized I wasn't afraid of them.
Oh my God.
Like they
I didn't
were.
know that.
So yeah, I've done that, picked up snakes before. That one's like obviously much, much larger, and I don't know what kind that is, but this one I knew was harmless, so I had no problem. And so if it was sitting on my door like that, I wouldn't want to kill it. It could be good for your yard, so I would take it off. I don't know, maybe call animal control with as big as that one is, but just hope I never have to make that decision. That's what I hope for.
I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Paul, it took like 9 years for the rattlesnake people to get me to eventually hold on to whatever that was.
They didn't even let you, like, you didn't touch a rattlesnake.
No,
you touched the
who
python.
would want to, other than golf buddy CB? All right, so that was on the front door of somebody's, whatever. So on Saturday, I'm playing golf at White Bluffs at Lake Whitney, and I sent this to Paul and Craig. This was on, I don't know, like 5 or 6. It's a par 5, and this is what we encountered here.
Yep, pretty big.
No, don't put the audio up. I think. No, I'm kidding. I don't think but that was I don't know, Paul. What, 3.5, 4 feet?
Yeah,
it's a dude now. That was coming across and our friend Terry Newman is playing. He basically almost stepped on it. That appears to be a rat snake.
It's a big black. Yeah.
And here's what someone told me. That as as the ponds start to get, as we start to get hotter, and the ponds start to evaporate a little bit more, then they start to get a little bit antsy and they start to come out. But remember, it was just 2 weeks ago I saw one on the entrance into my condo, and then one in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So I can't stay away from them.
Yeah. You'll see him more and more.
I'm still blown away by Craig's story.
It was the greatest thing ever because they thought they were going to be cute and scare me, and it was the other way around when it was all said and done. And I've never seen somebody leap over like 2 flights of stairs without touching stairs, but that's exactly what happened to my friend because his trick backfired. So, be careful who you're trying to pull tricks on and what they're actually scared of.
No kidding. All right, current American League earned run average leaders. Paul, give me one name.
Shane Bieber.
Nope. I'm not. I'm putting you on the spot. Craig, you have any idea?
No.
Lance Lynn, a 1.23 earned run average, which normally is insanity, except you have DeGrom, right?
Yeah.
Second in the American League is Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, and he's
2.13,
and he's got another year in his deal, so he better get the Rangers better get a nice haul for him.
Yeah, and we can
current Rangers.
Yeah, that's great because they'll do that just like they did with Lance Lynn, just like they did with every other pitcher who's worth anything for like a matter of time. They trade them away. They get some prospects that we may or may not hear about. It's the same old song and dance. They'll bring in a veteran pitcher next year. He'll be the opening day starter. He'll pitch well. All-Star break, they'll trade him. Rinse, wash, repeat. Nobody ever sticks on this roster that's worth a damn. They're all young now for the most part. And, it's just kind of what it is. So Kyle Gibson, like if you're a Rangers fan, who are you supposed to get excited about? Okay, I know there's a couple of players. Like, at this point, I guess Joey Gallo's just never going anywhere, but I'm never going to be a major fan of his. I just don't enjoy him like I feel like I should. But, outside of that, pitching-wise, they just get rid of these guys half the time. Like, there's nobody that sticks around at all in this rotation for the most part. So the last guy I got excited about was Yu Darvish, and I learned my lesson there. So I don't even get excited about the Rangers rotation anymore.
And here's the thing about their prospects. Okay, Elvis Andrus they got from
Atlanta.
The Atlanta in the Teixeira trade, and he was up pretty quickly. So he almost wasn't even in the minor leagues all that long for the Rangers.
That trade helped set them up for a lot of success.
But like people that they've actually drafted and brought up, I cannot remember the last one other than Joey Gallo. And Craig just mentioned what Joey Gallo is, but everyone else, like even think of the World Series run. Look, Michael Young was part of a trade. Adrian Beltre was a free agent. Whoever. I mean, you just name a player. Josh Hamilton was a trade. They didn't. They don't grow their own very well.
No, they have not done what you have to do in baseball is grow your own so you save money and eventually you go pluck a couple of big boy free agents. And,
or you raise them up in your farm system. They have like a good year and a half. They punch a guy, and then you give him a massive deal, and he busts like Rougned Odor. So they're just damned if they do, damned if they don't. It's almost like they're a really terribly run organization, which they have been for several years now.
Almost been 5 or 6.
You think about the Cubs in 2017. The stars of that team. And are still there right now. Javi Baez, homegrown. Chris Bryant, homegrown. Kyle Schwarber's gone. He's with the Nationals, but he was homegrown before they shipped him off. Anthony Rizzo, homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
They have pitchers there that were, John Lester was a free agent, and some Kyle Hendricks trade for the Rangers. They
By the
grew
way,
their own.
You brought up Anthony Rizzo. Do you hear about the blowback he received? He has not taken the vaccine, and there are the Cubs fans went nuclear.
He
on
and
him.
Jason Hayward both have not taken
Well, but, okay, that's their choice, and fans said trade them. Anthony Rizzo, because of the vaccine.
I wouldn't trade him because he hasn't taken the vaccine, but
eventually it's going to hurt their protocol because they have to go through protocol until 85% of your team has been vaccinated. But, I mean, you trade Anthony Rizzo because he hadn't been vaccinated? Are we really?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
I'm sure the Cubs would, if that ever came to the point.
I'm sure that person doesn't take things way too seriously in their own life day to day.
I'm not sure if you saw this.
It's easy. It's
so
fun.
Daniel, who's Jennifer's boyfriend, sends me the video of Christian Eriksen. I didn't watch it. I didn't see him collapse. But this soccer player from Denmark.
That's the point, though, is they don't want to. Like, that's the thing. They don't want to take the vaccine. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but, like, they could. Yeah, they could do it easily, but they just simply don't want to. And, I mean, I know everybody's got their opinion on that, but, like, I don't blame somebody if they don't feel like this is 100% safe right away. I think it's ridiculous as time has gone on that people, because they're just scared or delusional about it, they're like, well, did you hear about like the one case out of 100,000 that like something went wrong and that's their reason for not taking it? But they're 20-something-year-old, fully functioning, highly healthy athletes. And if they feel okay without it, then I understand that. Like, I'm not saying I agree with it necessarily, but I understand it. But like nowadays, people are just like, "Oh, you do it my way, or you're a piece of garbage,"
Yes,
and
exactly.
like, and that's bull.
Which is all.
You know what?
Yeah, that's come from a lot of years of how people feel politically one way or the other. Christian Eriksen, he actually suffered a cardiac arrest in the middle of a match for Denmark. The doctor said he was gone, and they resuscitated him on the field.
Yeah, that was a scary deal. My sister was texting me about that. I guess they were randomly watching that, and yeah, that was frightening. That was like the story of stories on Saturday was, that and the end result, and what had happened and all that. So that was pretty scary stuff. Glad he's okay.
Jack, did you see that? Were you watching it at the time?
Jack, you love soccer. You like watching it.
Yeah, I was not watching it at the time, but I went back. I actually tried to search out for some of those videos that no self-respecting news organization would put out. Maybe that makes me a little gross, but like I felt like I had to see it to fully understand it, and it was at one point something that is just not out there is that at one point there was broadcast somewhere that they were actually doing CPR on him. You could see on a live broadcast they were doing CPR.
There's video of them giving him CPR.
It's not out there anymore,
okay.
I believe.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can watch the Limb Bias video from years and years and years ago, and that's disturbing, and they're not even showing CPR on the court, but I did happen to just randomly see that. I didn't know there was video footage of it, really, because it was before my day, and I happened to read an article about it and saw a link for the video, and yeah, it's disturbing, and they didn't even show him necessarily getting CPR, but yeah, that Christian Eriksen stuff was scary.
To camera to his partner, his wife, who was there, and
get her off camera, man. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
But what was really cool was that the other Danish players actually started to like form a human wall to make sure no one could get pictures of any of it.
Good. That's what should happen. Yeah. That's human beings just being human beings and not getting hung up on stuff.
They were all crying and the emotion. It was incredible, and it was really, really scary to watch.
U.S. Open is this week at Torrey Pines, the great Torrey Pines. I'm telling you, Mickelson, coming off the PGA Championship, has never won a U.S. Open. That's about as close to home as you get for him. That's when Tiger beat Rocco Mediate. There's a book. That's the one we had the book with John Feinstein, I think it is, about Rocco Mediate and Tiger going extra holes the next day and going extra holes the fifth day. It's such a beautiful place. I turned it into my backdrop as far as on my desktop as well. That comes up. We'll have information. Cottonwood Creek Golf Course is our sponsor of the U.S. Open in coverage. I will put up a thread in the premium section sometime later on this afternoon or evening to get you, if you want, to be a part of the U.S. Open, whatever we do when it comes to picking teams. Paul, we got to get Rob Bolton. Is he available?
Oh, yeah. I'll
get hold of him from Wednesday, and we'll try to get Rob on either Tuesday or Wednesday. All right, when we come back, we'll have a couple more notes to get to, including if you haven't heard, again, what we had, Mike Singletary, lengthy interview, Dennis Gentry, et cetera, Drew Pittman and Dr. Ueckert on the brainvault.com. But Shane Anderson, the new football coach at Midway, we had him on off the top, had that story earlier today, and hopefully in the next day or two, they'll have his staff completely together. So that's all there from today as well. This is Sic'em 365 Radio. Right now, Ram Spotlight Days. charging ahead to eventually what they have coming up later in the month when it comes to 4th of July specials. Ram is a three-peat Motor Trend Truck of the Year, back-to-back top safety pick for trucks named in 2021. Spotlight on the 2021 new Ram 1500 Quad Cab Lone Star with $5,250 in discounts or 0% for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash, impressive towing, and the most comfortable ride of any truck you could imagine. The Jeep Freedom Days continue. The Jeep, in fact, featuring the Jeep Renegade Latitude, the 2021 model. Values of $3,750 or 1.9% for 72 months. Or, well, if you could add $500 in bonus cash as well. There's the 2021 Jeep Gladiator Overland. Values of $1,500, 3.9% financing for 72 months. Innovative technology to meet your lifestyle, plus much more going on with Chrysler, the Pacifica minivan, and that sales going on as well. Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat on Loop 340, east of 84 in Waco. Want to send my thoughts out to AJ. Hope you're doing okay, my man. And, of course, Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by. Let's be friends.
At Baylor University, students find their place to shine. They're faithful friends and inspirational leaders. They're championship teammates and independent thinkers. They're on the cutting edge of high tech and in the halls of history. If you want to make the world a brighter place, you can. And if you want to shine in your own way, you can. The spark you need is already inside you. Bring it to Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Boozers is the wedding ring store and more. If you're ready to get engaged or already married and want to upgrade your wife's ring for a special anniversary, Boozers is the place to go. With the largest selection of premier quality diamond engagement rings and wedding rings in Central Texas. They have 7 cases with over 300 styles of rings from top designers like Natalie Kay. Choose from yellow, white, or rose gold, plus beautiful top quality loose diamonds. With an in-house jewelry, they can also custom make anything you want. Bring in a picture or drawing and let Boozers create your one-of-a-kind pendant or ring. They can even use some of your old gold and diamond jewelry to create something new. At Boozers, you'll find a great selection of quality timepieces, and Boozers is the place for expert watch maintenance and repairs, too. They specialize in expert Rolex watch repair for fine jewelry, watches, custom work, and more. Go to Boozers on Valley Mills and Lake Air Drive in Waco.
Boozers, the wedding ring store and more.
At Marco's Pizza, get craveable pizza made the Italian way with dough made from scratch, an original sauce recipe, 3 fresh signature cheeses, and premium toppings you love, served hot and safe. Right now, you can get unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for just $6.99 each. Why stop at just one? Order with your app or at marcos.com for curbside, carryout, or delivery today. Marco's, pizza lovers get it.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
With so many companies and policies out there, it gets so confusing shopping for insurance, and I never know if I'm getting the policy that's right for me. Luckily, I met the team at the Niche Group Insurance Agency. With the Niche Group, you can go to one company and get access to coverage options from many insurance carriers, and you get to speak to a real person about your specific coverage needs. With the Niche Group, I know I'm getting the right coverage at the right price. If you need insurance, talk to the experts at the Niche Group at 1-800-258-8302.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
By the way, I mentioned the Torrey Pines U.S. Open coming up this week and how that's basically almost a home course for Mickelson from San Diego. But I would be remiss if I didn't just bring this up. There's no yet anything factual. But we've told you about Bear Ridge and Tommy Tompkins and that group and what they've done to renovate a course that went straight to hell for about 6 or 7 years. And he and others purchased Bear Ridge. But Tommy Tompkins... there is rumor, well, I'm not going to say rumor. There's speculation, pretty darn good speculation that Bear Ridge is being sold. The question is to who? We've heard anywhere from a small handful of people that are at Ridgewood. The city of Waco is one that's got some hot to it. And I'm telling you, whoever does and eventually buys Bear Ridge, Tommy Tompkins, I'm not saying statue. We've learned our lesson there. But something to honor what that man has done to help bring that course back. And also, I just went Morris family for what they do with the USGA as well.
Pretty rapidly when you think about it.
The Moore family, excuse me.
Yeah.
Within about 15 to 16 months, it was a blank hole. So I wanted to throw that out there because I was playing yesterday, and I was after the round, and I had a couple of 3 guys that I've known. One especially, I played golf with him at Ridgewood a couple of times, and that was the discussion we had.
Smokey, goats wouldn't even eat the grass. Huh? Goats wouldn't even eat the grass.
Or it looked like about 10 million goats were at Bear Ridge. I mean, that's not perfect, but it's manageable. The greens are in really nice shape, and I don't know what's going to happen there, but those are it's there. It's out there, and it's going to happen, although it's nothing yet that I know of has been signed or agreed upon, but that is just a matter of time. All right. Now, I saw, and have you guys noticed on your Twitter timelines, maybe not you, how many hundreds and hundreds of different posts or tweets about camps and offers. It is full throttle right now. I can't even keep up with it. I know Grayson and Brian did another weekend. Paul, you helped produce and direct it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. It's also annoying just for me because it's like, I forgot what Twitter looked like because during the break, there's a lot of people that just did not tweet or you didn't see, and now it's like everybody's back and it's like tweeting 50 times a day about every offer that's given and I try to keep up with the Baylor side, but it has been interesting to see like all this, talk again. I have a little bit of an issue that I'm dealing with as far as just the attention being paid to 17 and 18-year-olds and to the extent of which that has occurred. And it's gotten to the point now where I'm just kind of, I don't know quite how I feel about it. But, as far as just, hey, a guy's got a Baylor offer, great. I'll post that and that's all good. But some of the amount of attention that people spend on these I'm going to this camp or I'm going to that. I just find it silly, to be perfectly honest with you. And I'm not disparaging anybody who does all that. And there is a difference between somebody who covers recruiting and somebody who's like obsessed with recruiting. Right, and I'm talking about the people who are like obsessed that are 37 years old, typing this all up. That's who I'm talking about. Not like, the stuff that we do, because I think we just report the facts for the most part. But there's a little bit. There's a little bit too much going on, I feel like, in the world of recruiting.
Something. Well, remember what Roy Miller said?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, my God.
Something. A dude posted a graphic that somebody had to make for him. Actually, it was a guy that decommitted from Oklahoma. He had a decommitted graphic. Somebody made this for this guy to announce that he's not committed anymore. Like, this is stupid. This is just dumb as hell. Just say you're not committed and move on. But now we're doing graphics for decommitments. Like, it's like commitments. That's so silly,
He's a great player,
man.
but I want to tell you one thing about it. He has to hook him horns down, right? 50% of the reactions of him decommitting came from UT fans and about 25 or 30% from SMU fans. But, yeah, there's a graphic of decommitment with Oklahoma's logo on it and the horns down.
I mean, that's just like, I had this talk with Grayson. He's like, I love when they post what camps they're going to because it's easier for me to track down. Okay, I understand that. But that's not my main point is them passing along information. They're passing along what camps they're going to like it's a dadgum top 5 for their recruitment. And it's just a list of camps they're going to. Like, everything now is, and maybe it's a lack of attention over the last year, but, like, everything's got to be a thing. You know what I mean? It's like everything's got to be some graphic or event or public knowledge or whatever. It's like, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I don't know. I just want to see, like, occasional offers and, like, where you eventually go. I don't care about all this other minutia.
You know what I'll tell you is a little bit more interesting, and then, look, I experienced this. I didn't really think about this until this week, and there's such a flurry of camps opening, and, like, because they didn't really know, like, they thought it would be June 1st, and they thought that they would have this, but because of the way the last year's gone, nobody really knows. There were 2 kids here in the studio at the same time that had gotten offers from Baylor, but they were at one camp, and then basically Baylor called them and said, can you come to this? And then one of them, while they were here, got a call from another school that's a perfect, wonderful dreamland, and they were inviting him to their camp. So it's amazing right now that you're at a camp because they honestly didn't know they've had it.
Is that like talent day trading?
But a part of a little bit like you call him and like, hey, can you come to this? Because the kid that was here from Arizona, like he was at the Cal camp and Baylor called and said, would you like to come to our camp? And his parents, got on a plane and came down here to Waco because he was getting an offer. And that's very overwhelming for families to do that. And it's always been kind of like that where sometimes you get a last minute, like, will you come to this camp invite, but not to this whirlwind. And part of that's just because of the circumstances of the last year. It's a weird time right now for recruiting and the transfer portal complicates it. And,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay on tabs with Baylor recruiting, we're going to have everything you could imagine. And there's tons of stuff over on the premium section right now with interviews from this past weekend. And that's not what I'm talking about, and that's all well and good. And, yeah, it is crazy. And I think it's great to have the craziness back. My annoyance is just like grown people getting worked up over a 17-year-old kid who's making graphics to announce that he's no longer committed to a school.
Oh, yeah,
I think that's when we've reached a point where we're just like, this is the dumbest thing in the world, and why are we paying this amount of attention to it? That's where I go, okay, I'm done for right now. I'm going to take a step away, but I'll go check out the actual news over on SicEm365 when I get in the mood.
In the premium section, and Paul, you were here, Brian and Grayson, they've been just clockwork, man. This is unbelievable. It's been interesting. Josh Gibson of Pleasant Grove was in the studio with some players. Paul called me or texted me about it. That was cool as well.
Some players, they brought like 8 guys.
Well, they have.
And it's to Coach Gibson's credit, he is doing it for their benefit. I mean, it was really cool. I thought it was awesome what they did.
All right, here we go.
This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55.
Brought to you by Slapsticks Comedy Club. Forging ahead, club is almost ready to open and aiming for that July 3rd soft opening weekend. For more information, go to slapstickscomedy.com. The top 5, Ned Beatty rolls. All right, Ned Beatty, we lost him yesterday. He left this mortal coil. He was a fantastic character actor. So this top 5 list is not for our 3 youngins in this room because they've never heard of him until today. Even though they may have seen a movie with him, they didn't know who Ned Beatty was, which is just utter disrespect to Ned, the great Ned Beatty, who was fantastic.
Well, Zelmo Beatty was a hell of a basketball player back in the days of the ABA, but that's a different story.
Like, if you go to Ned Beatty's IMDb page, I mean, he's acted prolifically. Right. And some bad stuff, too. I mean, he did a lot of, like...
There better be one of the ones that I do remember.
I'll tell you right now, Ned Beatty did not say no much.
Okay.
If you wanted Ned Beatty, you could get him. Number 5, Deliverance. And the reason this is on this list is not a movie that you really want to watch a whole lot. Burt Reynolds is in it. Ned Beatty's famous scene is is very disturbing. But I got to tell you, I'm not going to have a top 5 Ned Beatty roles and not put Deliverance on there for this role in which he read the script and goes, yeah, I'll do that.
I've never seen the full movie. I only really know of it because of the main point that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the little, music notes we'll hear in our head every time we think of that scene.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I haven't even seen the full movie, I don't believe.
Yeah. And look, Burt Reynolds is in it, and he's, of course, a legend, too. Number 4, The Streets of Laredo, one of the sequels to Lonesome Dove. He played Judge Roy Bean in this, and he was awesome. He was excellent in this. It was a pretty small part, but he was excellent in this role as Judge Roy Bean, who is a legendary Texas lawman. Law west of the Pecos, Judge Roy Bean. Number 3, the original Superman movie. He was Otis. He was Gene Hackman, like Lex Luthor's sidekick, and he was very funny, and he was great in this. And, of course, look at that suit he's got on. I mean, you can't.
That's very 1970s.
1978 right there, buddy. Right there. Living it up. Number 2, Rudy. He played Rudy's dad. And actually, I think the most emotional moment in that movie for me is a tie between when Rudy goes in and hands him his acceptance letter at the factory, and he's like, oh, my son's going to Notre Dame, and he like stops everybody on the floor, or when he walks into the stadium and he's like, this is the most beautiful sight these eyes have ever seen. And Ned Beatty, I mean, that was anything else that happened in that movie, Ned Beatty evoked the most emotion in me from Rudy.
Yeah, that's just a great. You can watch Rudy at any time, pick it up at any time in the movie.
And here's emotions than the jerseys on the desk.
Even that, I think Ned Beatty is a father seeing his son achieve his dream and doing it for, like, the reason that Rudy did that in the movie, at least, was for his father, was so his father could see that and do that, and
that's a good testament to his acting. Then I'm gonna have to go back and watch more.
I mean, it's really good. I mean, he's just and then when he's. They see him running out on the field and all that, and it's just Ned Beatty was great.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
No, it's a great movie. It definitely takes creative license if you really talk to Notre Dame people, about Rudy. But it's a great
Rudy himself.
Yeah, or Rudy himself. Yeah. But as far as the fictionalized version of it, fantastic sports movie.
Yeah, Ned Beatty's the reason I'm not mad at Rudy for himself for being kind of a jerk. Number 1, Network. This movie was well ahead of its time in 1976. Won a bunch of Academy Awards. It's about like a television news network that has bad ratings and all the crazy crap that they do to try to get them. And it's fantastic. And Ned Beatty is fantastic in it. He's his best role, but yeah.
That's a very intense.
What did I miss on Ned Beatty for you?
Well, no, I just can't believe Heaven Can Wait.
Oh man, yeah, Heaven Can Wait. That's a good sports movie.
Warren Beatty?
That's Warren Beatty, but yeah.
But it's Beatty, so
I don't know if Ned Beatty was in it. He might have been, but yeah,
But when
Warren
you
Beatty.
did your sports movies the other day, would Heaven Can Wait have been a part of that?
I don't know, man. That's tough. It's a good one.
Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah,
I got
Warren Beatty.
Beatty
Warren
part of it.
I was like, then I'm thinking, is Ned Beatty in? He might be. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff.
But he was in Highway to Heaven.
Where
he played 3 different roles. Bill Cassidy, Willie the Waver, and Melvin Rich.
That show ran for a long time.
Yeah.
Michael Landon and former NFL star Merlin Olsen was on Highway to Heaven. So,
by the way, Dallas Baptist's run to the World Series ended, lost to Virginia 5-2. Notre Dame, Mississippi State about to have their third and final game. Texas, of course, is a part of that. Stanford ripped Texas Tech quickly and knocked them out. So that's just a little update on eventually the college baseball World Series.
Oh no, I was just say it's crazy that Tech just got pushed aside like that. Yeah.
What was it like? The first game was like 15-2 and then 9-0. Yeah.
In Lubbock too.
For Hayden, thank you very much. Thanks to Emma as well. Jack, unbelievable. Armstrong is out this week, so we appreciate all of those behind the scenes. Colt, Ashley, and also Brian for all of what they do. For Paul Catalina, for Craig Smoak, thanks to our guests throughout the day on SicEm365. I'm David Smoak. Good night.
MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Stepping into the boots of a U.S. Army officer can add confidence and leadership skills to your son or daughter's career path. See all the things they can achieve in our boots at GoArmy.com. U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, 254-598-8131 or 254-776-1543.
Texas Farm Bureau Insurance has been proudly serving Texans across the state for over 60 years. Call 254-772-8090 to find an agent who will provide a free review of your auto, home, and life coverage.